What's happening, everybody? Well, is he dead yet? Oh, guys. I think we should throw a bunch of premature parties, guys. That's what I think. I think just to let the man know, just a preview of the excitement that people are gonna feel when it's all over. Like, just to give him an idea while he's still here. I think every time the dude disappears for more than 48 hours, people should just go straight out into the street and just start banging pots and fucking big old signs, have a parade and shit, like have a block party. And then don't even like ever, like when dude comes back out and he's like, I'm still alive, stop. we're putting there's a new law. New law says no celebrating me dying while I'm still alive. When he comes out and does that, everybody should just act like they don't even notice that he's back. I think we should do that. I think that sounds like a great idea. I think that would be fun. It's been strange. And you guys remember this was the same thing that happened, obviously. Every time Biden was gone for like more than 72 hours, people were like, they replaced him with a clone. He's a skin suit. It's a hologram. It's a robot. At this point, I'm not. Actually, you could probably convince me that Donald Trump is a skin suit. You could also probably convince me that Leonardo DiCaprio is playing him a la James Woods playing Joe Biden. And I'm still with the fact that I think that I pray, I hope. I'm not a religious person, but if there's a God up there, I want God to hear this. Please let Joe Biden outlive Donald Trump. The conspiracy theories are going to be so wild. And then, you know what I want? Then I want Joe Biden to go on Twitter and say he's going to run again. You know what I want? Then I want in again. Joe Biden to run again. I just want Joe Biden to go on Twitter after Donald Trump dies and say, Biden 2020. Fuck it, he doesn't even need to wait. Actually, Joe Biden should start saying he's going to run again in 2028, like right now. Oh, dude, I would like lose my mind. Oh, that'd be great. All right, we got a lot to talk about. The internet's being a little wonky today. It's been wonky for the last month. We're going to have to complain. We're going to have to cry. We're going to have to complain. Can't have this shit happening. Let's see who's in chat. Let's say hi to everybody. And let's get the show rolling. Alan got number 1. Mike, number 3. You're slacking. Tammy, number 2. What's happening, Tammy? And, of course, the aforementioned woke Mike at number 3. You're bronze today. Mike, you're bronze. Mitchell, what's happening, Mitchell? Coming in 4th. Still getting you're getting recognized for you're somewhere near the podium. Angela, what's going on, Angela? Let's see who else is in here today. Kay, what's going on, Kay? Roxanne, what's happening, Roxanne? Redonk, we need to start celebrating every time dude disappears. You're my man for this. Redonk. Hooded One, what's happening, Hooded One? 5 Alarm Fire, good to see you, man. Thank you for going around and doing all the hard work you do out there. It's spreading the good word and spreading my name around and getting people to come here and watch the show. Thank you so much, 5 Alarm. Lucius, what's happening, Lucius? How's it going? Mitchell says he's been at his Ouija board and pentagram all day trying to get Lucifer Morningstar to take his jester Donald Trump back down to the pit while there's still half a country. I don't think there's half a country anymore, Mitchell. It's like a quarter of a country. Like we're down to like 25%. We're almost on empty. We're getting low. What's happening, Kevin? What's going on, Kevin? Is George getting a pardon? He probably doesn't have enough money. Yes, George Santos does not have enough money, nor enough. He has enough loyalty to Donald Trump, But, you know, he's got a lot going against him. First of all, he's gay. He may not, he keeps saying he's not gay, but we all know. Look, I might not have the best gaydar, all right? It might be a little wonky, all right? But when I hear George Santos speak, I'm like, that dude, that you are like 96% gay. That's my guess. He's not gonna pardon, dude. Petrossi, what's happening? Christina, what's going on? Let's see who else is here today. James Woods, I'm telling you. Slender Biden. Redunk. Donkron, what's up, Donkron? AJ, what's going on? AJ, it's JD wearing a Trump suit. JD likes to dress up like women. I don't doubt that. I guarantee those pictures are coming out at one point. You know those pictures are coming out. Dude, Joe Biden for president 2028. I'm telling you, he's fucking start doing it like right now. He could trigger everybody. He could trigger the left and the right. The left would be, shut up, Joe! Stop it, Joe! And the right would be like, ah! What if he wins again? What's happening, the people? How's it going, the people? Let's see. Am I missing anybody? Did I miss anybody? Kelly? I don't know if I said it, but I'm going to say it again. Hi. Always worth saying hi twice to Kelly. Pinkerbell, what's going on, Pinkerbell? Let's see. J. Rome, Starman, what's up, Starman? Hermit, what's going on? Hermit, Janelle, what's going on? I saw some of you guys over there. Where was I? I was over on Ojetta's stream. I saw you guys over there on Ojetta's stream. I always love seeing you guys when it's like popping in on some friends at a party. It's like if you got invited to somebody's party and you're like, yeah, I'll go, I guess. I mean, if I have to. Then you pop up in there and you see like 5 or 6 people you know, and you're like, what up? What up? It's good times. Always happy to see you guys over there. Also, always great to see you guys when you guys just supporting good people. Just support good people. Okay. So we got a lot. We got a bit to cover. So let's go ahead and drop down to Little Ginger. See if we can push buttons. Buttons have been pushed. We've got a couple different videos to go over today. We've got Joe Rogan realizing he might be a useful idiot, which I don't think he might be. I think the answer is clear. 96%. We've got Republicans getting heckled out of town halls, which I will never get tired of seeing that. Probably one of the best parts of all of this is just watching people like Susan Collins getting booed at ribbon-cutting ceremonies. It's fucking hilarious, to tell you the truth. We've got talking about the hidden cost of data centers and why your electricity bill continues to go up, why the consumer price index continues to show higher and higher electricity costs for Americans, not just Californians, but everybody in the fucking country, because Donald Trump is a fucking liar, and he did not reduce energy prices and is not even attempting to reduce energy prices, hasn't done a single fucking thing to try to reduce energy prices, and energy prices just continue to go up, and they're going to get worse as the earth gets hotter and data centers continue to soak up all the fucking electricity so that way they can answer our stupid fucking questions. Yeah. You guys can tell my electricity bill is high, can't you? Am I giving high electricity bill? Because I'm trying to fucking give that right now. All right. We also got some leaked emails about Jeffrey Epstein's connections to the surveillance industry. You don't say Peter Thiel and Jeffrey Epstein are connected? No fucking way. Why? What is this world we live in? God damn it, man. Of course it's connected. You know what's funny is watching kind of people throughout this country realize things that we were talking about like 8 months ago. Being a small streamer, it's both kind of fun and also irritating to watch the rest of the country start talking about things that we've been talking. I literally watched a video today on a professor in China talking about the rise of techno-feudalism. I was like, well, glad you caught on. So I'm just happy you're teaching the young people about it. And then I saw I think it was a CIA guy talking about Peter Thiel's connection to J.D. Vance, and that connection, of course, to Palantir on Patrick Bet-David with that dipshit. I mean, like I said, it's great. I'm happy to see that people are finally realizing that this shit is going on. But it seems like they might be a little too late, guys. They might be a little too late. We got a little bit of a in-betweener. We've got the Donald Trump saying some Native Americans didn't look like Native Americans. Are they really Indians? Back in like 93. That shit, that's an in-betweener. We got Venezuela preparing for war with America. Most anti-war president of all time, guys. Most anti-war president of all time. Bombed Iran. Has threatened to invade Mexico. Currently threatening to invade Venezuela. And is failing completely to stop any relevant war in the country or the world or the globe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Just such a goddamn disappointment. Dude could, like, come through on one fucking thing. It would be great. We've got the combat vets down at the DC takeover. We got us a jolly good ginger talking about what's going on down there in DC, as we all know what's going on down there. Authoritarianism. And we've also got, if we get to it, this is the bonus. This is the bonus one, guys. This is bonus. Bonus episode right here. I might stay late for this one, guys. All right. Dr. Don. What's happening, Dr. Don? Michelle, what's happening? China. Let's see, where's my China button?
China, 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 China.
Funny story. That's all from one rally. That's how many times he said China at one rally. That was in Waco, Texas, guys. What's happening, Boston Brian? Everybody say hi to Boston Brian. Also, everybody say hi to Dr. Don. Skelts, what's going on? Miss Anonymous, what's happening? China, 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 China.
I love Tesla.
What happened? That was so long ago. Anyways, this is the bonus episode. This is the end of the show. If you stay to the end of the show, we're going to watch somebody do the unthinkable at a Korn concert. And it is not what you think, unless you've already seen this video. And if you've seen this video, you better not fucking spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't be a jackass, Redonk. I know it's going to be you. It's going to be fucking Redonk, I can tell you this. But first, we're going to start off with covering some of the news. And my favorite thing to cover nowadays, of course, is the fucking around and the finding out. All right? This is the type of fucking around and finding out that is just, like, so insane. It's once again just, like, MAGA believing that the things that are going to happen to them, or I'm sorry, the things that are going to happen are never going to happen to them. MAGA radio host cancer-stricken wife can't get COVID shot because of kook. RFK Jr. I didn't know that's how you spell kook, to be honest with you. I've never seen it actually spelled. An ultra-conservative, not just a conservative, guys. This is how far into politics we've gotten. Like, we're not just like that person's liberal, that person's progressive, that person's Republican, that person's, whatever, fascist. We have ultra-conservatives. At what point do we end up with ultra-fascists? Well, I guess we already have ultra-fascists. We just haven't maybe termed them as so. Maybe I should start calling them all ultra-fascists. Ultra-conservative radio host attacked Robert Kennedy Jr. on Thursday, saying that his sick wife is unable to receive a COVID-19 vaccination because of the policies of the Secretary of Health and Human Services. Eric Erickson, who has a really fucking weird name. Why would anybody name their child Eric if his last name is Erickson? A couple of you guys are like, fuck you, guy. John Johnson. David Davidson. Robert Robertson. Tell us you're fucking the least creative human being on the earth in the shortest way possible. Eric Erickson, an influential conservative talk show host, reposted a New York Times article about declining availability for the COVID vaccine at pharmacies and said his wife is one of the people affected. Aww. Aw. I'm trying to summon because, like, it's cancer. Like, I do feel bad for people. Like, like, maybe his wife's a nice lady. Like, I do want to feel bad for his wife. I just, like, I don't have enough, like, pretty sure she's probably an asshole, too. So, I'm not sure if I can. My wife has stage 4 lung cancer. She is one of the people the COVID vaccine actually helps. That's what he posted right there, okay? Then he posted, CVS holds off on offering COVID vaccines in 16 states. In response to comments criticizing his take, Erickson further explained his wife's predicament and sharpened his criticism of Secretary Kennedy. Just for all the people chiming in ignorantly. Oh, you don't say. Your whole crowd. You have cultivated a crowd that is ignorant. And then you are so fucking surprised when the responses you get to it are fucking dumb. So all the people chiming in ignorant, the vaccine does not prevent COVID for my wife, but it greatly minimizes the impact of the virus, he explained. It's the difference between symptoms amounting to a runny nose and being bedridden for a prolonged period of time. Eric Erickson, I have some information that may be worthwhile to you. Yeah, that's actually what we all knew for this entire time, was that it helps you to potentially not get COVID. Yes, it does do that, okay? Through herd immunity. It makes you less likely to get it because there's less likely that people are spreading it. But, the reason that most of us believe you should get the vaccine is not because we don't think you will not get COVID. It's because it will definitely help your immune system, to have a fucking playbook for the virus before you get it. Now imagine if you weren't such a fucking grifter and you hadn't sat there and told your audience not to get the vaccines and that they're filled with fucking robots and stupid shit like 5G is going to activate the cryptocurrency through the blockchain in your blood cells and make your uterus fall out. Imagine if you weren't one of those people spreading that shit. Imagine if you hadn't helped Donald Trump and RFK Jr. get into office. Imagine if the very people that you shit on over and over and over again were in office right now. Because I guarantee you that Kamala Harris or Joe Biden wouldn't look at your sick wife who has stage 4 cancer and go, well, she's an ultra-conservative, so fuck her. In fact, Joe Biden would probably be like, let's make sure that lady gets a vaccine. In a video posted on Friday, Erickson called Kennedy a kook, which tells you he's over the age of 65, and a conspiracy theorist who is destroying our public health service in America. You don't say? Who are these fucking people? The blistering criticism comes amid chaos at the HHS, which has been inconsistent in its messaging on the COVID vaccine over the past few months and is now dealing with top-level turnover at the CDC. Yeah, people are fucking quitting. Call it what it is. People are like, this is fucking stupid. I'm out. The FDA approved updated COVID vaccines for this fall season, but limited who can receive the jabs. Please don't say the jabs. If I ever hear a person say the jabs, I just fucking leave, dude. I want to leave when you say the word the jabs. Whereas past iterations of the shot were recommended widely to most adults and children, the agency only approved the shot for people aged 65 and older. Younger people are only eligible if they have at least one underlying condition, and those under 18 can receive the shot with the approval of a medical provider. While Erickson's wife would likely qualify as a person with an underlying condition, major pharmacies are restricting access to the vaccine due to the current regulatory environment. The Times reported that CVS is now requiring patients to have a prescription for the vaccine in 13 states, including Erickson's home state of Georgia. Yeah, that's what you get. And that the shot is no longer available in Massachusetts, Nevada, and New Mexico. Walgreens is implementing a similar policy, but in different states. Adding to the pain, insurers will likely stop covering the vaccine for those who are not inside the eligible groups, spiking prices up to $225 per shot. But Trump's going to bring down the price of medicine, guys. He's working on it. He's totally working on it. Just like he is working on an infrastructure bill for 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks, and then 4 fucking years later, he still didn't have it. Yeah, this is fucking Groundhog Day all over again. The confusion over vaccine eligibility and availability could worsen in September when the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices is set to review the safety of the COVID vaccine along with several other common vaccines. ACIP does not have the final say on which vaccines are recommended by the CDC, but some states have laws that prohibit pharmacists from administering shots that are not recommended by the panel. In June, Kennedy fired all 17 members of the panel and replaced them with a group that includes several vaccine skeptics. This is what you voted for, Eric Erickson. I guarantee you he voted for Trump. One of the reported reasons that Dr. Susan Monterez was ousted as CDC director this week is that she refused to agree to accept whatever recommendations the ACIP hands down at its September 18th meeting. Her firing triggered the resignations of 3 senior officials who excoriated, I've never seen that word written out, Kennedy's management of the agency on their way out. I can't say that person's name. One of those senior officials said on CNN on Thursday that no one from my center has ever briefed Kennedy on measles or COVID, and that the HHS secretary is getting information from somewhere, but that information is not coming from CDC experts. What do you even fucking say? What do you even say to something like that? Is our current HHS secretary getting his fucking information on vaccines from YouTube videos? Like, you might sit there and go, like, come on, dude. That's, like, you know, he's getting it from fucking Malone or one of these other vaccine skeptics. You can't rule out the possibility that RFK Jr. is popping Zen and watching YouTube videos. Guys, there's a distinct chance that the fucking Health and Human Services Secretary is fucking getting shitty at 2 a.m., one hand down his pants, fondling his fucking ball sack, while he fucking goes, oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. And then flips to a fucking UFO. Oh, that's crazy. And then video 30 seconds later. We live in the dumbest fucking timeline. In an interview with the Daily Beast, the guy who I can't pronounce his name predicted that the September ACIP meeting could ring in even more uncertainty around the COVID vaccine access. What I worry about is that they're going to use inaccurate data or cite the absence of perfect data to actually constrain who can get the vaccine to a point that almost no one will qualify. Even more concerning is that they could make a recommendation extremely complicated for no reason, and that will confuse clinicians and make them hesitant to provide the vaccine to people who are requesting it because of concerns about liability.
I love the poorly educated.
I just, you know, like I said, I want to feel bad. I do. I want to feel bad. I just, you know, at the end of the day, this is what these people voted for. This is what they wanted. They're happy with it. This dude's fucking wife is dying of cancer and needs a COVID vaccine. These people were like, we kept the robots from getting on her blood. You guys don't understand. Bill Gates and a pizza. There's a pizza restaurant where they have children. They're fucking morons, okay? It's the way it is. And it's hard to feel bad for morons. It's difficult. I want to summon up that empathy deep down inside me somewhere where my soul should be, that it doesn't exist. And and every time I reach down there to look for it, all I find is a bunch of dipshit Trump supporters saying the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. I've watched too many videos of these people to feel empathy for them. It's fucking out of control. All right, we got one more here. Let's talk about actually, actually. Wait, what up, Gray Pill? What's happening, Gray Pill? What's happening, Props? J. Rome, did I say hi, J. Rome? What's up, Perry? Randy Greer, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I can't explain it either. There is no explaining it, man. There just really isn't. I mean, like I said, it's the dumbest timeline. Like, you watch debates with Trump supporters, and that's all you have to do to recognize that these people aren't coming back. They're pot committed. Sunk cost fallacy. When Donald Trump passes away, they're going to ride the Hellbop comet with him. They're going to get their Kool-Aid out, strap the Nikes on, get inside the bunk beds, and drink the Kool-Aid, and fucking just go right along with him up there to Heaven's Gate. Or down there to Hell's Gate is actually where they're going. They're all going to hell, just so you know that. Every fucking one of them. But that shouldn't come as a surprise to them. There's a couple MAGA people right now going, no, I'm going to heaven. Brenda the Ginger says that we're going to hell. Do you think they got mayonnaise in hell? God, I hope they got mayonnaise in hell. You know, I saw Donald Trump on that cartoon. He was hanging out with Satan. They were in bed together. They weren't doing nothing freaky. Obviously, they were just having a conversation. But, you know, if Trump's down there, well, that's where I want to be anyways. They'd follow this fucking moron all the way into fucking hell, dude. They'd be like, wow, it's warm down here. Maybe those liberals are right about fucking climate change, bro. My mayonnaise is melting. It's not Kool-Aid, it's Diet Coke. Sorry, Rita. My bad. You're right. They're all gonna drink fucking aspartame. Oh, dude. Alright. Speaking of people that have drank aspartame, let's just watch this Joe Rogan video because it's in the title anyways. Brown mayonnaise. Don't say things like that, people. You said brown mayonnaise. It's a lightly toasted mayonnaise. Oh shit. All right. You guys gotta stop fucking around. Let's watch this video of Joe Rogan kind of coming to the realization that he might be a useful idiot. I don't know about useful, but he's definitely an idiot. And you know the funniest thing about me saying that too is immediately I think of all the times that Joe Rogan was like, I'm an idiot. Why would anybody listen to me? And then all these people were like, I'm going to listen to that guy. Hell yeah, brother. That's my dude right there. He's spitting the goddamn truth. All right, so let's watch Joe Rogan realizes he might be a useful idiot, and this is from the channel Too Lazy to Try, who I really enjoy.
People come in here all the time.
Hold on.
I have people coming here all the time that I know are bullshitting me. I know they are. Like I feel it, you know. And sometimes it's just like, all right, what are you gonna do? I think some.
Hold on, what? That is not usually my response to finding out that people have been giving me shitty information
all the time that I know are bullshitting me. I know they are. Like I feel it, you know. And sometimes it's just like, all right.
He said, "It's just like all right." Dude, this is literally why this shit exists.
I love the poorly educated.
Oh my god, dude. Fucking, that's why.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Fucking geniuses, man.
What are you going to do? I think some of the information that gets shared on this podcast is probably bullshit.
Kind of like, you know,
To hide
muddy the
things.
waters. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah! Holy shit. Oh, man. I should do a Slab City documentary type live show. It would be awesomeness. I haven't been to Slab City in 36 years. I don't think it's the same Slab City. It might be the same Slab City. We might have to go check that out. We might have to do that. Maybe we'll live stream it. I'm not going to do that. You guys are going to have to pay for me to do that shit, though. I'm sorry. Look, if you guys are gonna send me out into the desert with my sweet ginger skin, y'all are gonna have to pay for that. We're gonna set up a GoFundMe or something like that, because I'm gonna need fucking to cover my medical bills when I come back with 3rd-degree burns. I'm gonna need to buy a new bucket hat.
Right, so it looks like Joe Rogan is starting to act like he's realizing that his podcast is being used by grifters and politicians to make money and promote propaganda, specifically alien propaganda. Apparently, Joe
Alien. It just sounds funny. Alien propaganda.
thinks some of the information on his podcast regarding aliens is probably bullshit that's pushed by the government. I mean, it's hilarious that this is what's finally getting Joe to admit that the government's using his podcast. So he came to this realization after the podcast he did with that congresswoman who told him the government has evidence of UFOs. And
Isn't she a stripper? I mean, I don't know if she's still a stripper, but wasn't she a stripper? Not to demean my stripper folk, okay? I love all people, all right? And I have a special place in my heart in my early 20s for strippers, okay? Not anymore, okay? I don't be at the clubs. That shit'll get me in trouble. But I can still remember the smell of coconut and watermelon lotion. Don't ask me. If you haven't been there, you don't know. But if you do know, you know. Grape Hill knows. Grape Hill, I'm outing you. Oh, thank you for the 20 memberships. My dude 5 Alarm. Thank you for the 20. If Joe Rogan just goes back to just talking about aliens. If his podcast never again features another fucking politician, never again does he talk to Trump or JD Vance, any fucking politicians, period. If he just goes back to talking to ex-strippers about potential alien life, I will stop calling him a moron. Just so we could get back into some sense of reality, guys. Chris says, first of all, what's up, Chris? Sorry, I was behind the live feed. No, Slab City is not Slab City anymore. General Motors teamed up with the geothermal power plant in the Salton Sea to extract massive amounts of lithium. Dude, that is exactly what I would think happened to Slab City. Not even fucking kidding you. That sounds legit.
so it was just a complete waste of time, and she sounded like an idiot. I mean, she wasn't even good at bullshitting us. At least other UFO guests, even if they're full of shit, they can come up with some interesting stuff to say.
You know, Joe Rogan was hoping that she was like, she knew about aliens. He's like, dude, it'd be so dope if you were like both hot and knew about aliens. Like, this is going to be so cool.
But she couldn't even do that. I mean, if she wasn't attractive, this would have been one of Joe's most disliked podcasts. Also because it's really obvious that Trump's administration pushed for Joe to have her on.
Hold on. What did he just say? Hold on. That was the dry monotone voice makes me miss some of the jokes.
She couldn't even do that. I mean, if she wasn't attractive, this would have been one of Joe's most disliked podcasts. Also because it's really...
Dude, that is such shade. Oh, dude. He just shaded Joe Rogan's entire audience.
really obvious that Trump's administration pushed for Joe to have her on. Like, he almost admitted that the other day when he said he thinks the government sends people on his podcast to talk about aliens right after he had this congresswoman on. And during that podcast, you tell Joe was trying his best to go along with what she was saying and act like she's somewhat convincing. But there are moments where he was having trouble taking her seriously because it was just a complete...
Dude, that's the perfect steal. That's the perfect steal for it. That's like, yeah? Oh, yeah? Oh, that's crazy.
joke. And I think Joe is probably even a little embarrassed about the episode because it was just that bad. And it was pretty obvious that it was being used as a psyop to distract from the Epstein Files cover-up.
Do you think Joe Rogan ever is sad that this is what happened? Or do you think he just goes home and rolls around in his hundreds of millions of dollars and he's just like, fuck it? Because if I had built something like Joe had built off of the backs of people like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Brian Cox and Steven Pinker and Jonathan Haidt and like, you know, physicists and neuroscientists and social psychologists and evolutionary theorists, like, and then one day you're just sitting there across from an ex-stripper that got voted into Congress that's like talking to you about aliens, do you ever just like look at that and go, I think we might have made some mistakes. We were going on the right path and we might have fucked this up.
But I do have to say,
He's
that
too
if
dumb
I
to nuts.
wanted, if I was the government,
Monkey
and I
bars
wanted
at
to,
strip
like,
clubs.
spread a bunch of
Read
crazy
up.
stories about UFOs, I'd tell them to people like Tom,
I guess so. Yeah.
and I'd tell them to people like me. I mean, I think people do that on this podcast. I think some of the information that gets shared on this podcast
Is she not an
probably
ex-stripper?
bullshit.
She's still
to
stripping?
kind of
Only
like,
in the
you know,
evening.
To hide
muddy the
things.
waters. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the witnesses had talked.
Gotta get that one more time.
To kind of like, you know,
To hear
muddy the
things.
waters. Yeah.
Yeah!
One of the
God damn it, dude. God.
witnesses had talked about what had happened at Vandenberg Air Base, where there was this thing that appeared over the base. It actually had multiple blotters reporting on it from phone calls into law enforcement from like hundreds of people. And whatever had appeared over the base was basically bigger than a football field and basically a cube, a red cube with some weird thing in the center of it.
First of all, I think that's a Dungeons and Dragons monster. Isn't that the gelatinous mass? Did somebody that played Dungeons and Dragons make up this story? Look, man, I am all for fucking UFOs, bro. Okay? I believe, I'm like, statistically speaking, there is a good chance that there is alien life out there. All right? I'm just saying numbers. I'm just speaking numbers. All right? Like, I'm all for it. I want to know about the aliens, man. I watched the Bob Lazar shit. I was like, I don't know. I don't believe any of this shit, but probably also. Okay? It's a possibility. Like, I wanted to believe in this shit, but when you say something's as big as a football field, a giant red block with something in the middle that's as big as a football field, and there's not a single fucking picture that we have, like she's seen it, but nobody else has. Bro, I'm dumb. I'm not stupid. Like, I want to know. I want to see, like, it just fucking, like, look, we used to have the Inquirer or the Sun or whatever when they're like, you know, Hillary Clinton's a skin suit, you know, kind of shit. Like, aliens came down and had sex with my father. You know, shit like that. We used to have that back in the day when I was a kid, and it was just like you could read that while you're standing at the checkout at the grocery store. I'm down. Like, we can go back. Let's just, but do we have to take these people seriously? A fucking red gelatinous cube? Okay, I'm adding gelatinous. A red cube as big as a football field. And nobody else got pictures of this shit. Just some random ass dude. Okay.
But I want to bring it back to evidence. You said that you've seen evidence.
I want to bring
Like,
it
what
back
kind
to
of evidence have you
evidence.
seen?
I have seen photos. I have seen.
What have you seen photos of?
So I was in a
Trump's penis.
skiff, and I can't discuss all that was in a skiff, but what I can tell you is based on the photos that I've seen,
Dude, why, like, throughout history have we fallen for this shit? Why throughout history has there been many among us that are willing to be like, yeah, bro, she's just, you know, she doesn't have the proper authorizations. She can go on Joe Rogan and tell you about a couple of the things because, you know, that doesn't violate the classifications. But when it comes to anything hard, like evidence or proof, not really able to talk about that this time. Like, dude, I want to believe. Have you guys ever seen the show Joe Rogan did? It was called, like, what was it? Like, What If or some shit like that. And he would go around and he'd talk to these people that, like, supposedly had close encounters. I think it was on Sci-Fi. And he would just get stoned with Brian Redband, I think it was. And they go around and talk to these people. And fucking every time they'd go, like, even Joe Rogan was like, yeah, I can't believe this. This person has just done a lot of acid.
very confident that there's things out there that have not been created.
The
by
skiff!
So you can't tell us what you saw, but
I'm gonna let you infer.
infer.
I'm going to let you infer.
See, this is the problem that I have with all this stuff.
There have been incidences that I believe where very credible people have reported that there have been movement outside of time and space.
That
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! Does she even know what that means? There has been movement outside of time and space. There's there's no fucking way she even understands that. We have gone too far, guys. It's time to roll it back. It's time. We need to go back, guys. Like 10 years, maybe 12. I used to respect Rogan back in the news radio days. Everything he represents nowadays is serious bullshit. The guy is a sellout, motivated by money. Props. I'm giving you props. 100%. I tell people this all the time on this show. When people come on here and they're like, you just hate Joe Rogan. You don't like Joe Rogan because he's got more money than you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, I used to love Joe Rogan. I used to watch Joe Rogan's show all the fucking time. You know the difference between Joe Rogan now and Joe Rogan when I watched him, and I'm sure when props there liked him, was he wasn't fucking giving all this stupid bullshit. It wasn't. This is the craziness of fucking this timeline that we're in. Is that like, when you're sitting across from like Brian Cox and you're asking Brian Cox about like how the sun works or what a neutrino is or, up quarks, down quarks, quantum physics. So he's talking to Sean Carroll. When that shit is happening, that's the kind of stuff that like brought me into the fold. I bought books because of Joe Rogan's show. Like I said this before, I bought The Happiness Hypothesis from Jonathan Haidt. I bought The Social Leap from William von Hippel. I bought Steven Pinker's book, The Enlightenment, Enlightenment Now. Like that should show you if you're a thinking human being. When you got people like me, when you got people like props there, if you're a thinking human being, when you got people like me, when this dude used to be cool. It has gone wild. I should say to you, the path forked, and Joe Rogan chose money over humanity. It's just my opinion.
It's very vague.
Yeah. So, look.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Look. Have I seen a portal open? No. Have I seen a spaceship? Personally, no. Have I seen evidence of this? Yes. Have I seen photo documentation of aircraft that I believe were not made by mankind? Yes.
Okay, so what qualifications does fucking, I'm going to keep saying ex-stripper, and I'm telling you, if you're a stripper out there and I'm offending you right now, let me let you know I love you, okay? I love you, all right? I appreciate you. I'm just saying that if you're a stripper that's not currently putting yourself through college in like the aeronautics field, that there's a chance that you don't know what a plane that the government couldn't build would look like. I'm like, if you aren't part of the aerospace industry and also stripping on the side, I'm just drawing a clear line. Don't hate me for this, okay? I love you guys.
Yeah, so Joe's acting like he's catching on, like he's just starting to figure out that he's a useful idiot. But he obviously knows his podcast is used for propaganda. He just doesn't care unless it's this obvious or embarrassing, like with this lady and also Cash Patel. Then he feels the need to.
Crazy ass Cash! Bro, if Crazy Eyes Cash is, if I'm sitting at a bar in a hotel room or a hotel and I'm at the hotel bar and Crazy Eyes Cash sits down next to me, first of all, they cover my drink. Second, I know that he about to tell me the wildest shit I ever heard in my fucking life. Those eyes say I'm about to tell you some fucking crazy shit.
Be like, shit, I think they're lying to me. Of course, he knew this congresswoman was going to be full of shit, and there's a reason the government wants him to have her on. Like I said in my last video about this, a week before this podcast, Trump's administration had a meeting on how to handle.
How did we go from Bob Lazar to Anna Paula Luna? Like, how did that happen? How did we go from like those people to this? Like, did the bookings dry up? Did like are people not wanting to go on Joe's show now? Because that's a possibility, right? But how did we get here?
The Epstein Files fiasco, and they discussed how they could use Rogan's podcast. And I'm sure Joe was told not to mention Epstein.
People unsurprisingly like being very, very
this
rich.
lady's the head of a task force, which I'm sure is just a bullshit thing, but it's supposed to be pushing for the release of the Epstein Files. So you'd think Joe would ask her about this. This would be a big topic, but he never.
Dude, tweets are a strongly worded letter. That's that tweet nowadays is a strongly worded letter. Like I tweeted at them. They're like, what did you do? We elected you to Congress. We wanted the Epstein Files released. We wanted our energy bills dropped. We wanted cheaper groceries. We wanted higher wages. What have you done to fulfill those promises? Like, look, are you not on my X account? If you're not on X, you should be following me. You should be following me because I tweet a lot about these subjects. Like, that's literally where we're at. You know, Bill Burr has that fucking joke where he talks about, he's like, everybody's got that liberal aunt that changed their profile picture to Black Lives Matters, and they're like, I solved racism. It's the same energy. It's the same energy. It's like, so my electricity bill is through the fucking roof. What are you doing about that? Have you seen how many times I've tweeted about that on X lately? Yeah, I've been getting fire retweets. Just so you guys know, like 37K likes, 2.5 million views, at least 30,000 shares. In fact, Sergeant Slaughter liked my tweet. So just so you know, it's getting to the right people.
Mentioned it once. So I think they probably learned from the Kash Patel episode and how badly that went. I mean, almost everybody knew Kash Patel was full of shit during that episode. So having this lady try to explain how not releasing the files was a 4D chess move from Trump would have just made things 10 times worse. So they must have told her and Joe not to bring up Epstein.
No, I need to go back to that. What did that tweet say? Oh, I forgot. I want to give you guys a little bit of background on this tweet. So this was when they would not release the Epstein files, right? This is when they came out with phase 1 and all that shit, right? And Trump was panicking. This is when Trump was doing the whole, like, Epstein? Why are we talking about Epstein? He's such an old man. He's a creep. I kicked him out many years ago. We're still talking about Epstein? Remember when he did that shit? So he's panicking. And then these two dipshits showed up at his office with a brilliant plan. That brilliant plan was that they were going to ask the grand juries, a judge to release the grand jury evidence, which it isn't evidence, it's just testimony, right? So it's testimony of, I think, like an FBI investigator and like a police officer in the Epstein Ghislaine Maxwell trial. So there's absolutely nothing in those testimonies that we don't already know about here in America. So their 4D chess move that she's talking about is the fact that they keep asking these judges to release this information from these indictments, but doing it in the worst possible way, so that these judges are literally now making fun of Trump's administration. In fact, one judge even said, I should just release the testimony so that way we can show everybody how fucking stupid this is. How much of a non-issue this is. This is not the files. This is not evidence. This is nothing new. This is just distraction. That's not me. That's a fucking judge that said that. And this was the 4D chess that they played, guys. Jesus Christ.
Just made things 10 times worse. So they must have told her and Joe not to bring up Epstein.
Silent!
Even though she did mention it once, but just to say that she's not using aliens to distract from it. So it's just comical. But I think Joe might be starting to feel a little guilty about these episodes. That's why afterwards he's like, guys, come on. I know guests are lying to me all the time. Because he said that right after the one with the Congresswoman. And then also right after the one with Kash Patel. He basically referenced Kash and UFO people. Because around the time of that podcast, also there's a former UFO guest of Joe's that has worked for the government.
Oh, no.
He claimed to release some pictures of aliens and UAPs, which were obviously just fake as hell. So everybody was clowning on him.
Dude, hold on.
Of aliens and UAPs.
What the fuck is that? Dude, you guys remember when they found the aliens in Mexico? Remember the two little dolls things? Remember when we covered that? That was so long ago. That was from the before time. Those were good times. That's back when we could still laugh.
Which were obviously just fake as hell. So everybody was clowning on him, including Joe. So,
if I had no morals, I could make a career out of releasing one blurry image of nothing in particular every 10 years. Come to think of it, blurry images of nothing in particular are actually a great metaphor for our post-truth society. Damn.
Between that and Kash Patel, Joe felt like he needed to say, like, guys, come on, I know these people are full of shit. I'm not stupid. And I'm pretty sure there's a cut while they're talking about that at the end of this clip. So I think Joe might have been a little too honest here.
What if Sean?
Speaking of UFOs, did you see Lou Elizondo? These photos that are supposedly of a real...
Isn't that a ex wrestler? Lou Albano. Sorry, Lou Albano. My bad.
Alien.
Oh, here we go.
Bro, it's so dumb.
Here
The
we
photos
go.
look blurry. Of the photos of the dead alien, like you can't even zoom in on that. You can't even fucking focus. Look at these. Yeah, that thing. Look at
They're like, we're gonna take a picture, but it's not gonna be a good picture, because we wouldn't want it to be a really good picture of the fucking alien.
that. What is that?
Like, were you in a hurry when you took a picture of it?
What's that? What is that? How about better pictures? This is crazy. These are the only pictures. Is this from the 40s?
Bro.
Like, what's this picture from?
Bro, what is
What is
that?
this?
Oh, people want to believe.
Bro, so bad. Me too. I'm like, maybe
Me too.
the bottom ones.
It was funny. Somebody asked me.
I do that sometimes. So what you're saying is, and so I don't even have to like say that's ridiculous.
You're just
That's fucking
acknowledging,
bullshit.
yeah.
I just let the internet have it. You know?
Yeah, you go,
You know what I
really?
mean? Like Epstein didn't kill himself.
Drink.
You know, like that kind of a deal. Like okay.
We're having,
You know, like,
we're having some internet
let the
problems,
internet
guys.
Deal with this. I'm not going to
Sorry.
deal with this.
Sorry.
This is like I can only
We're
be
back.
so pushy. You know, when people don't want to talk about a specific thing or want to give you an answer that you think is pretty much gaslighting you, you're like, okay, so that's a real UFO. All right. You might, you know, I have people come in here all the time that I know are bullshitting me. I know they are. Like I feel it, you know, and sometimes it's just like, all right, you just what are you gonna
People
do?
call them sometimes. don't
Sometimes, but like sometimes I don't know.
And it's so funny. He's basically like, I know a lot of my guests are full of shit and are grifters just trying to make money or promote propaganda, but what are you going to do about it? And he specifically mentions the UFO guests, but only a month or two after this, he had on this bimbo to talk about interdimensional beings.
So when you
Yeah,
say
'cause
that
he's
it
never gonna
operates
stop.
outside our understanding of physics, what specifically are you saying? Like what happened?
To I guess break it down in simple terms is that I think that some of the tech that exists, that whatever these things have, these energy things have,
Energy?
I was gonna say, bro, thank you for saying. I'm like, energy things. Energy things? What the fuck do you mean energy things? Come on, man. Outside of space and time, energy things, something as big as a football field, red with something in the middle. It's like, dude, like this shit is, come on. This is just made up. Like, I want like good shit. I want to believe that some of this stuff is true. But like, it's all just very disappointing.
Things? What do you mean?
Well, they call them interdimensional beings. I think that they can actually
Interdimensional
operate through
beings.
the time spaces that we currently have.
Yeah, so who could have guessed that this lady wasn't going to be credible? Definitely not Joe. Poor guy fell for it again. And even some of Rogan's
Fell for it
comedy friends
again.
like Dan Soder make fun of him for doing podcasts like this. You know, and then afterwards being like, I think the government was just trying to use my platform. You know, like with this one and also the Cash Patel one.
Rogan's
Yeah,
like,
this
oh man,
escapes,
really?
bruh.
I think they tricked me. It's like,
I think they like used me in my platform and they
Oh,
took
shit.
my face.
And it seems like these Rogan
Oh, dude, that's some harsh shade. Just like four dudes laying down on a couch, just talking mad shit.
episodes of politicians just keep getting
Fractals!
worse and more obvious. You know, so I can't wait to see what they come up with next. I mean, the episodes are entertaining, and even if Joe doesn't push back, enough people, I think, call out the bullshit now. Like, people are aware of what's going on. And I think Joe might be losing patience with Trump's administration. Like, if they don't show him some proof of aliens soon, they might lose him. Like, if they really want him to go all out, helping cover up the Epstein files, they just got to show him proof of aliens. That's all it takes. You know, it's all.
No. Don't say things like that. Like, Joe Rogan's just gonna like literally be like, as long as they show me the proof of the aliens, dude, I don't give two shits. Like, I will defend you, keeping the Epstein files from being released, whatever it is. Just show me the aliens, bro. Oh shit.
All he's ever asked for.
I'll tell the government right now. Tell you right now if you're listening, NSA, CIA, I'm available. Okay, if you show
I think that's the TV series. I think that's the TV series I'm talking about.
me all the real wreckage, I swear to God, I will make fun of that crap to the end of time. I'll make up stories. I'll lie to my mother. I don't care. You show me a UFO, I'll lie to my mother.
Let's say an intelligence community to manipulate them than it is to come in here. Like an intelligence community is not going to go, all right, let's find.
All they have to do is bring me.
Bro, isn't Joe Rogan one of these people that like totally knows about like Operation Mockingbird and shit like that? Like, isn't Joe Rogan like a person who can tell you like fucking word for word the entire like Operation Paperclip, Operation Mockingbird, like every one of these conspiracies? And he's sitting there across from a person that is actively working in the government going, oh, shit, that's crazy.
To the UFOs.
No,
That's all I
for
ask.
sure. You keep telling them that. Yes.
That's all you have to do. What do you want me to do?
It's
very
easy.
We're going to go to war with Kosovo? I don't even know where Kosovo is on a map, but if you tell me where the UFOs are, I'll have a guy in here that explains why it's super important.
But it is funny. It's like what they'd have.
So they better show them some of those aliens soon if they want them to keep pushing government propaganda and distracting from the Epstein files.
Yikes.
Because it sounds like he's getting fed up with all the bullshit proof of aliens. And it's funny that might be the final straw for him. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you want to hear about how Epstein clients have been using Rogan's podcast to try to help vindicate themselves, or how Peter Thiel, a guy who took a giant loan from Epstein after he was a convicted sex offender, is Rogan's. Hear about how Epstein clients have been using Rogan's podcast to try to help vindicate themselves, or how Peter Thiel, a guy who took a giant loan from Epstein, is Rogan's handler, and the food at his dinners.
Tim Dillon's bar. He's like, look, you can be my government handler if you want, but you gotta have better fucking food than this.
And dining him, so he might be under the Peter Thiel umbrella soon. But if you want to hear about that, or how Joe Rogan thought there's a woke reporter who infiltrated his comedy club and freaked out.
Oh, that's Andrew Callahan. Andrew Callahan. I guess we should watch that next one then, huh? Since I think we should go ahead and watch. Let's see. Where is it? Where's the Adam Mockler one? Oh, there it is. So I guess we should watch this one then, talking about Epstein's connections to the surveillance industry. Holy shit, guys. I just, like, what is this timeline, man? Like, we've gone too far. It's time to go back. Can we just have, like, a Carrington event or something like that? Maybe a Kessler event, even take out all the satellites. That'd be... I feel like it would suck, but I think that we might need a reset. Now I just triggered every MAGA person watching. The Great Reset. He's talking about the Great Reset. Fucking white people. He's trying to get rid of the white people. He wants to take our mayonnaise. It's probably what's happening right now. Definitely happening right now. It feels like we should probably just take it back to like 2012-ish, 2014 maybe. All right. Let's watch this one. This is Trump flees as Epstein bomb leaks from Adam Mockler. Of course, we all know that Donald Trump disappeared for 3 or 4 days. My guess is that somebody introduced Donald Trump to virtual reality pornography, and he spent 3 or 4 days just jerking it to. Well, we can't talk about that on stream, but he's jerking it. That's what we're gonna go for, and that's why I think he disappeared. I think he disappeared for 3 or 4 days because he was like, somebody knocked on the Oval Office door, and he was like, "Go away, I'm baiting." So I got his VR headset on, no pants, just a slovenly shirt, just jerking away with a black hand. Maybe he was getting the grayscale treated. But anyways, this video from Adam Mockler is about...
All right, we have a lot of breaking...
...is about what he believes is the reason that Donald Trump disappeared for a bit. And he believes...
We have a lot of breaking...
...is about what he believes is the reason that Donald Trump disappeared for a bit. And he believes he's running from some leaked emails that reveal Jeffrey Epstein's connection to the surveillance industry, which we all know, because we were just talking about it, has tons of connections in this area to J.D. Vance and the rest of these fuckers.
All right, we have a lot of breaking news to cover in no time to waste.
McRib.
In just one moment, I'm going to show you leaked emails from Jeffrey Epstein that place a key member of Trump's orbit at Epstein's Island. Now, it's up to you to speculate what happened at this closed-door meeting at Epstein's Island, but I do want to present to you the emails that we now have our hands on. First, You guys all know that Trump has not been seen in front of any cameras for 6 days. It had been 6 days since the press pool saw him.
You know the best part about that is that my wife on that, I think it was last Sunday, said, did you know people have been sharing TikToks that Trump is going to die on the 25th? I don't even remember why that they were saying that. But then somebody else had told me that The Simpsons had predicted that I think he died on the 26th. And then Trump disappeared. And I was like, dude, all right, this is a fucking simulation if this shit happens for reals. I was like, simulation confirmed. If The Simpsons keep this shit up, I'm like, they are definitely our alien overlords. Like, they are the programmers. And of course, as we all know, he came back today and looked really, really shitty. Obviously, dude's going through health problems, and the grayscale is spreading. It's probably in his chest.
Since any reporters in D.C. saw him, and since he did an on-camera press interview. In fact, the last clips of him that we saw were rather weird.
JFO, no. JFO says, I can hear Dump saying while he jerks it, she's all computer. JFO. Dog. Oh. I both love it when you guys fucking come up with better jokes than I do, and I also hate it. I'm like, you guys should be up here. What the fuck am I doing here? That is fucking amazing, Jay.
And bizarre. He was stuttering and repeating himself a lot. But I do want to report that today we do have photos of Donald Trump. In this photo, he's about to head to the golf course on Saturday morning. Of course, the President of the United States was not able to...
He is so high. So high!
...to end the...
Don't forget to bring your towel.
...strikes on Ukraine,
it's
done
a
by
stunt
Russia.
Double.
Or the strikes on Gaza, done by Israel. Or the tariff war that he himself started. No. He's not...
Veruca Salt says, Matt Groening rode on the Lolita Express allegedly. Has anybody not? I mean, this is like... I keep saying this. It's like the saddest thing to know how many people, and I'm not saying everybody that has ever been connected to Epstein. Obviously, the dude was in finance. So I'm not saying that everybody connected to him is a trafficker. But... like, especially the people that still had connections with him after 2009, like, it's like, that shit is sus. Like, it really just, like, my, like, hope for humanity just, like, continues to just, like, plummet lower and lower. It's like, every time I'm like, I think this guy's kind of based. Somebody's like, he's friends with Jeffrey Epstein, or, he hung out with Jeffrey Epstein back at this party, or I'm like, fuck me! Just turning off the TV.
Prioritizing that. He is prioritizing golfing on this Saturday morning. Golfing, every once in a while, isn't inherently bad. Lord knows that Obama golfed, but the extent and the repetition of Trump's golf pattern is absurd. You're the president of the United States. You haven't solved any of the problems you've claimed. In fact, you've made them worse and inflamed them. And we just see this.
Bravo!
He's like, I'm totally still alive.
Hi, Mr. President.
Are you going to lower prices, Trump? 72% of Americans say.
Wow, look at that body. Let's just leave it here for a second, guys. Let's just leave it here for a second. Take a look at that. Oh, you guys might not like it, but that is peak male fitness. What the fuck is that body shape? He might actually be a robot. There might actually be somebody inside of that man. There could be like you guys, if you're as old as me, you know about Beyond the Thunderdome, all right? You guys know about Master Blaster, all right? Like, the little dude from Master Blaster might be inside of that guy's stomach. I'm not sure if Donald Trump is becoming gold member or fat bastard. I think he's actually becoming a weird combination of gold member and fat bastard. Like fat member or gold bastard. I'm going with gold bastard because fat member sounds weird.
That this administration should focus more on lowering prices. Instead, Trump is tweeting about Taylor Swift and the Washington Redskins.
Oh, I know Christine. Christina, I know all about the Peter Thiel and the Epstein part. I know that connection. That doesn't surprise me. I mean, look, did I know shit about Peter Thiel before, like, 2024? No. I didn't know anything about Peter Thiel. I knew that he was, he bankrolled the two brothers, Eric and, what's the other one? God damn it, the two Joe Rogan guys. I can't remember their names right now. I can see their faces in my head, though. Anyways, I knew he bankrolled those guys. I knew that he had big money. I knew he named all of his companies after, like, Lord of the Rings shit. But I didn't know enough about him. And I should have been more aware of Peter Thiel. But I did know about him and Epstein. I did know about that one.
For some reason, and mobilizing the National Guard. It is
Tinkerbell. Master Blaster is what Trump does with VR.
Absolutely absurd. He's not looking too good today.
Bro.
Here's Aaron Parnas breaking down the news.
We have some news right now. A photograph of Donald Trump has been taken this morning per the White House pool, the press pool, which is traveling with Donald Trump. Here's what we know according to Barack Ravid, who's a senior Axios reporter. The White House
Barack Hussein Ravid
pool report has issued the following statement. Pool photograph snaps picture of POTUS in white polo shirt and red MAGA hat with black pants. POTUS motorcade began rolling at 8:45 a.m., which is about 30 minutes ago.
Very solid reporting from Aaron Parnas. Trump has officially been found. It's weird to say, but the President of the United States has once again been found. While he was gone, we got this new article titled Leaked Emails Reveal Jeffrey Epstein's Connections to the Surveillance Industry. And this one is quite...
Yeah, Melanie says Peter Thiel is also bankrolling JD Vance. For people, sometimes I forget that a lot of you guys kind of pop in here, or you don't watch my live streams, you might watch videos and stuff. I forget sometimes that all of you guys haven't been here for me talking about Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin and JD Vance and Mark Andreessen and Bezos and Musk and all these billionaires and techno-feudalism. And I forget about that because obviously my show is not just techno-feudalism, it's also covering a lot of other things. But on this channel, we 100% believe in the techno-feudalism arc. The fact that techno-oligarchs are making their way into positions to create freedom cities, which Donald Trump has talked about, and that they bought their way into this administration, and that it did start, they did originally begin purchasing their way into the White House through Barack Obama. Barack Obama was the first person who opened his doors to the Silicon Valley tech oligarchs, and it is part of the reason that we are here today. But, yes, for those of you who don't know, J.D. Vance ran for Senate in Ohio with the help of Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel gave, I think, $17 million, I believe, was the amount of money, which was the most money ever put into a Senate campaign. Peter Thiel got J.D. Vance elected. J.D. Vance served a year and a half as a senator, had said a bunch of crazy shit about Donald Trump being Hitler and all these other things. Yet all of a sudden, Donald Trump decided J.D. Vance, not a bad guy. He can go ahead, come on in here and be my vice president. Now J.D. Vance has a super cush job where he just goes on vacation all the time and, raises the height of the water when he wants to go canoeing while, middle-class people can't pay their electricity bill. And to me, that straight up should tell you to your fucking face, like slap you dead in your mouth with it, that J.D. Vance bought his position. I would be willing... To me, that straight up should tell you to your fucking face, like slap you dead in your mouth with it, that J.D. Vance bought his... I would be willing to bet right now, when this... If it ever has a politician get into office that actually is interested in exposing what is going on today. And I say that in that manner because I don't know that, certain Democrats getting into office will expose the type of shit that I think should be exposed about what is going on right now. I think if it does happen, I think we're going to find out that Peter Thiel paid off Donald Trump to get J.D. Vance into the position he's in, because I 100% believe that Donald Trump is a useful idiot. He's a clown. He's a distraction. He's not the person that everybody should be scared of. He does shit without a plan. He does things reactively, like most old people do. And I'm not saying that he is harmless. That is far from the truth. But what I am saying is that the tech oligarchs, the Project 2025 people, those people behind Donald Trump that have paid for access to the Oval Office, paid for access to legislation and policymakers, those people are the scary fucking people. And those people are in J.D. Vance's pocket as well as Donald Trump's.
Interesting. After his first arrest for sex crimes, Jeffrey Epstein tried to get into a new line of work.
You think
surveillance.
In the files?
In 2015, he partnered with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak to invest in a security tech startup called Reporty Homeland Security, now known as Carbine. Leaked emails show that Epstein was using Barak to seek out opportunities in the surveillance industry and build connections with powerful figures around the globe, including American businessman Peter Thiel. Now, if you recognize the name Peter Thiel, he co-founded PayPal, he co-founded Palantir, but he's also the billionaire who bankrolled J.D. Vance's entire political career and also played a key role in backing Donald Trump's campaign. So before we even dig into the emails that I'm about to show you in just 1 second, just keep this in mind. The man who bankrolled J.D. Vance ever since 2011, I believe, the reporting was that in 2011, Peter Thiel saw J.D. Vance and said, I'm going to make this person the president of the United States someday. So they ran for Senate in Ohio. They won due to the money. They've already gotten rather close to their goal. I mean, say what you want. I'm not a fan of Peter Thiel, but J.D. Vance is 41 and he's the vice president of the United States. So Peter Thiel has been pushing for this for a decade and they are succeeding. But here's the thing. Trump and Vance promised repeatedly on the campaign trail that they would release the Epstein files. It was one of their main pushes. We're going to be transparent. We're going to release the files. We're not going to be like the Biden admin, the deep state, the swamp. But the moment they got into power, it all fizzled. And now we see that some of their biggest donors, biggest bankrollers, people in Trump's orbit, including Trump himself, were so tightly entrenched that it's obvious why they're not releasing the files. You know what's interesting? Usually politicians, and it's not ideal, but usually politicians are more beholden to their donors. You know, like, oh, my donor doesn't want me releasing this or saying this, so I'm not going to. But Trump seems to be beholden to his own past.
Yeah, and so this is the funny thing about I just wanted to say this. The mental condition that MAGA suffers, right? When they say TDS, that's actually something that the left said about Trump supporters before Trump supporters kind of absconded with it and started using it. The original terminology, Trump derangement syndrome, was used to explain how Trump supporters can make anything that Donald Trump does right? One of the reasons that they feel so strongly that Donald Trump can't be bought is because he does these kind of wacky things, right? We were joking about it over on the Soros stream the other day where we were saying, like, Trump will get up there and he'll just, like, say some random shit. Just like, you know, he's supposed to be doing something for Thiel. He's supposed to be doing something for the tech oligarchs that put money in his pocket. And he'll go against that by saying some crazy shit just out of pocket. And that makes MAGA supporters feel like, oh, you know what? He is actually fighting against the deep state. He is actually, like, not part of the establishment. But what they don't realize is that actually Trump, after he does something like that, always goes back on it. You know, like I said about when he claimed that he was going to give amnesty to farm workers and leisure workers in the leisure industry. Like 2 days later, he came back out and was like, "We're never going to do that. We're not going to give immigrants any amnesty. We don't want them here. We want them gone." Like, he just goes off the top of his head and he goes off script so much, and that makes them feel like he's not establishment, that he doesn't have people putting money in his pocket, that he'll go against people's values. But look at what's going on right now with Israel. Like these, you know, I want to show you guys that video of that guy, Heavy Duty Country, who's obviously a very hardcore conservative dude, but he's completely disillusioned, completely disenchanted with what Trump is doing. And he looks over at Israel, and I heard a fucking conservative for the first time in my life talk about universal health care. Now, he didn't say those words, but he said, why are we sending, you know, all of this money and guns to Israel while people here in America still don't have free health care? And I was like, holy shit, dude. That's a weird moment. But, you know, there's some obvious connections. And I'm not you should hate Israel person. You guys know that about me. I think that the government in Israel deserves all of the fucking smoke, all the criticism for the shit that is going on in Gaza right now. But I do not believe that Israeli citizens are the Israeli government. I do not believe that criticizing the Israeli government is anti-Semitic. I do believe that you should separate people from the government, just like I hope people do for us here in America. But there are some obvious connections that go back for fucking ever between people like Trump and the Israeli government, people like Till and the Israeli government. It's obvious to me, at least, that they are a almost satellite country for America, right? Like, they are in the Middle East doing pretty much America Part 2. You know, they want to own that continent. They want to be in charge of it, or at least be able to do the same thing that America does, and just be able to stand up there and yell #1 loud enough that everybody believes you.
Not some donor. Well, it could be donors as well, but it's primarily not some donor that's the problem when it comes to Epstein. It's Trump's own behavior himself. There are hundreds of photos of Trump and Epstein. There might be more photos of Trump and Epstein than of me and my own grandpa. So it's not some donor that's holding him back. It's Trump himself. I digress. Now let's talk about the Peter T.
That there's an argument to make that it's okay for them to defend this shit, man. Like, it's fucking wrong, dude. Like, in so many ways. If you're a good human being, you intuitively fucking feel bad just hearing the words after the first time he was caught sexually exploiting teenage girls. Like, what the fuck, man? Oh, thank you for the $10. Thank you for the $10, 5-alarm fire. I'm concerned about the midterms because Dems are just writing strongly worded letters. David Pakman just uploaded an eye-opening video after reaching out to the White House. Yeah, I don't disagree. I do not disagree. I am very, very concerned about the midterms. I am very, very concerned about the way that the Democrats have responded to candidates like Mamdani that poll extremely well on a lot of issues. I'm very concerned about the fact that people have pointed out that Hakeem Jeffries and other Democrats have been benefiting from super PACs that have money from Elon Musk in them. Yeah, you know, I've said this before. I said, you know, the left has to be careful because the left will eat its own. So it's very important to have conversations on the left that are not hyperbolic or are not insane to the point of just like eating each other. Obviously, you guys know I feel like the debate over Palestine and Israel led to at least some of the issues in Kamala Harris's campaign and her loss. And you're not going to convince me that that we're better off now without Kamala Harris in office. You're just not going to convince me of that, right? But we can have that conversation. We need to be able to have a conversation about removing people like Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Cory Booker, any of these people that haven't been speaking up and doing their jobs. I think that's important. I think it's important for the left to realize that certain people in the Democratic Party, as many people that were much more political than I am, have been pointing out on both sides forever about the Democratic Party taking billionaire money. I am very concerned about the midterms because, as I have stated multiple times before, I do not believe that the Democratic Party understands what people want from them. I don't think they're in touch with people. And to be honest, certain people in the Democratic Party, I don't think care about what we want. And that needs to change. We need younger people. We need people that are motivated. We need people that care. And we need people that have skin in the game. And these politicians currently, whether the left or right, to be honest with you, none of them have skin in the game. They don't live the life we do. And it's just as the wealth gap gets bigger and bigger, the more likely it is that we're going to have politicians that have no idea how to fix the things for the middle class that need to be, or the working class. I keep saying middle class. I should say working class. The working class need fixed.
2008. He served a little over a year in detention before getting a sweetheart deal cut with Alex Acosta, the same Alex Acosta who would then go on to work in the Trump administration. Yes, that Alex Acosta
I do want to talk about that real quick. People saying I heard that Pac-Man took dirty money. This is what I'm talking about. I hate seeing all these left-wing content creators making those videos. Look, if you're the Majority Report, fucking stop. If you're Destiny, if you're Hassan Piker, if you're on the left and you're making these videos about David Pakman or any of these other people that have joined Chorus, you should fucking stop. Believe me, I'm not getting paid by Chorus. I did fill out the paperwork to join the Unfuck America tour, just because that's more my style. But people need to stop. I don't get why people eat their own so fucking hard over here on the left. It's insane. Like, I looked at I disagree with what I saw Chorus was asking influencers to do. This is allegedly. I don't know the facts of all this, but I did see that Chorus was saying, like that people have to run all their questions and their political content through Chorus for approval and stuff like that. David Pakman has denied that that's what's happening, so I hope that that's true. I don't think that the left should be muzzling itself at the behest of money. I think that this is an important time for people to be putting values and morals ahead of dollar signs. I don't make a lot of money. I barely make fucking anything from this channel, and I've been concerned before about what if I didn't have my career? What if I was only making, YouTube money? Like, would I be able to be still the morally good person that speaks on the things that I believe? And I believe that I could. I hope that I can. And I also hope that people like David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen and the other people that are involved in Chorus, I hope that they as well can ride that line. And by the way, just so people understand this, if that is part of the contract, they can break that contract. I mean, at the end of the day, Chorus legally isn't going to be able to do anything but, snip the budget, like to cut the financial money out from under them. That's all Chorus would be able to do. So if you are an influencer that is currently taking money from Chorus, then, the only thing I would say is it's fine to be able to fund projects, because the left does need a better influencer ecology. The right has a huge influencer ecology. The left has a very competitive and very small influencer ecology. But we should be supporting each other and trying to get people to a point where we're actually making a difference in the society and not just, eating our own constantly. The left does it so much. Thank you for the $10. From what I've seen, Maxwell Frost and the AOC are the only two not accepting APAC cash. That's good. That's good. That's very good. And like I said, even for some of that stuff, yeah, I saw Luke Beasley went to Ukraine. It's fucking dope. Even with taking money from people, right? This is what I'd say, because people say Bernie took money from this or that, right? If that person's values change after taking money from people, we should be concerned. That's important. But if you have somebody like, let's say Bernie Sanders. Let's say Bernie Sanders took AIPAC money, or he takes AIPAC money. I don't know if he does or not. I doubt he does, but let's say he does. If Bernie Sanders takes AIPAC money, and then Bernie Sanders all of a sudden comes out with this hyper pro-Israel approach. And I'm not talking about what the left oftentimes freaks out about small disagreements. Like, Bernie will come out and say something like the starving of Gazans is horrific. We shouldn't be doing what's going on over there. Like, this is all bad. War is bad, whatever. And then people on the left will freak out and be like, he never said it was a genocide. He's a fucking piece of shit. And it's like, whoa, holy fuck, man. Are we really going to fucking burn down Bernie's house because he didn't say genocide? I get why you want him to use that word. I understand the impact. I understand why people feel it's necessary to make sure people understand how serious this problem is. But you're eating your own, man. Bernie is on your side. He has the same fundamental values as you do. But if he changes because he's starting to take money from, let's say AIPAC, then I do feel like that's a time to call him out. That's a time to say this is bullshit. But the problem with the left is the left oftentimes reacts so harshly to any small veering away from a message that oftentimes we get splintered, fractured. We go all over the place. We start infighting. It's a huge fucking tent, and that tent collapses right on top of people's heads real fucking quick as soon as one of those poles gets removed. And like I said, it's more nuanced than just saying chorus is bad, or it's more nuanced than saying taking any money at all for donations is bad. It's much more complicated than that.
Jeffrey Epstein off easy. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Epstein invested his wealth in a bunch of bizarre projects, a ranch to breed women, efforts to identify a mysterious particle that might trigger the feeling someone is watching you. So this dude is very, very into surveillance and surveilling people. These leaked emails,
bro, he had cameras all over his fucking house. Well, for the reasons we all know,
show that Epstein was also interested in more mundane means of spying and manipulating people, which overlapped with technologies governments often pursue. Let's break these down, but first, can I just remind you who Peter Thiel is? He was the man who was asked, hey, you would prefer the human race endures, right? And he can't give a straight answer. Just listen to this clip.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right?
I've never seen this clip, just so you guys know.
You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
Yes?
I don't know. I would...
What the fuck? Why is that even a hard question?
I would...
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit
Should
in this.
the human race survive?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also would... I also would like us to radically solve these problems.
Why does he look so sickly
and what does that mean? Hold on, what does that mean? And I would also like us to radically solve these problems. Like, that's the type of shit someone says that's like, poor people don't need to exist. That's the type of shit someone says when they're like, if old people don't have Medicare and they die, well, that's actually a good thing because, Social Security is going to become insolvent by 2030. Like, that's the kind of shit that, like, a fucking weirdo says. Why would you say that? Ever? Thank you for the 99 cents, Grape Hill.
weird and sweaty in this. Like,
Love you,
should have
buddy.
just said yes. I also think the human race has problems we need to radically solve and change. Everybody thinks the human race...
Redonk. If he would have said that, I would have lost my shit. I don't know. It's a no for me, dog. I would have lost my shit.
Has problems they need to solve, but you don't have to wait 25 seconds to say yes to this question. Now, to continue, there's a clip of him being asked if he's the Antichrist.
Oh,
this is
shit.
the man who owns
Solid.
Palantir, by the way. Palantir is a
Solid
surveillance
question.
company that is partnering with the government and with ICE to surveil immigrants and non-immigrants. It's scary, and this is the man that's running it.
This is my very specific question for you, right? Is that you're an investor in AI.
This motherfucker's straight out of Lord of the Rings. Tell me that's not fucking Gollum, dog. Bro looks like Gollum. You can't fucking convince me that this fucking guy doesn't have a ring that he calls his precious. This motherfucker is about to look. Adam Mockler. I'm sorry, Adam. I'm gonna go in on you for a minute. Adam Mockler looks like he might be Frodo. Okay, I'm just saying. Right now, I'm seeing a juxtaposition right here of possibly the beginning of the Lord of the Rings. Okay, like Adam Mockler might have a ring that Peter Thiel is interested in, and Peter Thiel's about to follow his ass all the way to a volcano where Adam Mockler is trying to save America by throwing it into the fucking volcano. And these are all analogies for America, guys.
You're deeply invested in Palantir, in military technology, in technologies of surveillance, in technologies of warfare, and so on, right? And it just seems to me that when you tell me a story about...
Why does dude look like he wants to fight the interviewer? Also, why are you so vascular? Why are your veins popping out like that? Like, my dude, like, you are too lean. There is too much going on here. This does not look healthy. This guy looks like a billionaire tweaker. Like, he looks like he has done methamphetamine. Like, this is some Adolf Hitler shit going. This guy looks like a billionaire tweaker. Like, he looks like he has done methamphetamine. Like, this is some Adolf Hitler shit going on right here.
The Antichrist coming, the fear of technological on the world. I feel like that Antichrist would maybe be using the tools that you were building, right? Like, wouldn't the Antichrist be like, great, we're not going to have any more technological progress, but I really like what Palantir has done so far, right?
Yeah,
isn't that a concern? Wouldn't that be the irony of history would be that the man publicly worrying about the Antichrist accidentally hastens his or her arrival?
There are all these different scenarios. I obviously don't think that that's what I'm doing.
To be clear, I don't think that's what you're doing either. I'm just interested in how you get to a world willing to submit to permanent authoritarian rule.
Well, but again, there are these different gradations of this we can describe.
I'm going to be honest. Peter Thiel is a really rich figure who pops up in mainstream a lot, but I don't find him quite fascinating. Like, he's taking these long pauses in this interview, like he's about to say something incredibly astounding.
Nah, I think he's thinking about the fact that he can't say the shit he wants to say. I think he's like, what I really want to say is poor people should just probably go off into the wilderness like a stray cat and never come back. Peter Thiel looks like a dude that's yeah, climate change is real, but it's also going to be helpful because it's going to actually take out most of the world, and then there's more resources for us. Peter Thiel looks like he has all the worst thoughts, and he doesn't know how to not say them.
But he never says the astounding thing. He just takes the long pauses, and it's just annoying. There's nothing unique or fascinating or interesting about this figure. I feel like I could barely even hold the conversation.
AM, I don't have anything against gays, but he does it. Oh, you said something earlier. Peter Thiel is a fanatical Christian nationalist, but who's also gay. I don't have anything against gays, but how does he reconcile that with his whack beliefs? Yeah, I don't think that you're saying that anything about gay people. I think that that's a very relevant point to almost everything that we fucking ever cover, to be honest with you. I mean, how many of these Christians that claim that they, believe in the Ten Commandments and being like Christ, and then they end up being, pedos? How many of these congressmen have, come out against LGBT rights just to turn out to be, on Grindr? I think that the reason Peter Thiel is the way he is because he is unhappy with who he is as a human being, because the people around him don't like him. They don't like Peter Thiel. They like Peter Thiel's money. They like Peter Thiel's power, his connections. And, that's kind of why, like I said, I'm a registered independent. Why I've always found that's kind of why, like I said, I'm a registered independent. Why I've always found myself in better because even if I don't always agree with everything, I generally find that people on the left are much more welcoming of the differences of lifestyles. Sometimes diversity of thought can be an issue on the left, but I think that's just because you have so many different ideas and opinions on how to get to certain places. That's where the left conflicts with itself. But somebody like Peter Thiel, if he was willing to accept that being a billionaire is probably immoral, if he could just say to himself, having all this money, having all these resources, hiring all this power, and not using it for the best possible reasons, and just doing what you can for people now, helping homeless people, helping battered women, fighting climate change, doing things like that. If he could get to a point where he could accept that having money is a responsibility, then I think he would find himself a much happier person in a left-leaning community, because obviously they're much more welcoming of gay people. And I think that makes him hate himself. So yeah, I agree with you, actually.
Conversation with him if I met him. All right, to move on to the emails. Now that you understand who he is, the owner of Palantir, the co-founder of PayPal, somebody who's bankrolled J.D. Vance's entire career and helped this push for Donald Trump in 2024, he was meeting with Jeffrey Epstein on his island. So Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel, was very close friends with Jeffrey Epstein. This first email is from Ehud Barak to Jeffrey Epstein in 2014. So at the peak of this activity, he said, "Jeff, hi. I've ended up misleading you mistakenly." Nearly sent it right. "We are reaching JFK on Wednesday the 22nd on 6 a.m. and taking 2 hours later at 8 a.m. a flight to the islands. The flight lands in St. Thomas at 12:55. I'm still trying to arrange the security guys will not come with us to the island. The security guy.
That is fucking sus. That is so the security guys aren't coming with us. Oh, by the way, do you guys know, is it Steven Decker? Is he the guy who bought the islands, bought Epstein's Islands? Do you guys know that they want to turn the Epstein Islands into luxury resorts? That shit's sus. Bro, that shit's sus. I think it sold in 2023. I want to say it was Steven Decker. I might be messing that name up. I'll look up the name.
They do not want there at the island. That was from Ehud Barak to Jeffrey Epstein. We have another email. Jeff, thanks. Peter Thiel could be very interesting, but I'm flying to Europe maybe next time. And then we see another chain of emails where they're talking about Peter Thiel. Ehud asks at the bottom, hey, I'll be there in 2 hours' time. He's probably going to stay until New York until Monday. Does it make sense to have a cup of coffee with him? Jeff says, yes, definitely after 3. This says, and before 6 p.m. Is Peter coming around 7 p.m.? Peter is Monday at 8, says Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, call you after the meeting, says Ehud Barak. And then finally, Ehud says, going to meet him for dinner tomorrow. He asked to bring another person with him. I don't know who/why. I've met him once in Davos some 2 years ago. Probably doesn't even recall it. Let's see. I was told by the host of the dinner that we will probably spend it just talking about geopolitics. It's a first date. I think he's of huge potential to accelerate things by the sheer reputation he got. No way it's a waste of time. Thus, I'm going to do it and we will see. I'll let you know. That was from Ehud Barak. So there's clearly some deeper surveillance operation going on here, not only with Ehud, but with Jeffrey Epstein and Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is now spearheading Palantir's government contracts where they are spying on people. And Peter Thiel bankrolled the Trump campaign and J.D. Vance. So the question then becomes, listen, I'm not someone who really delves into conspiracies that much. I'm not somebody who will go and speculate and ask questions in my videos. Every single video I make is very fact-based and is based on reporting that has been vetted, and I'm not speculating. But I just wanted to make this video, in this part in particular, just to show you guys how many people...
AM, you want to know something crazy about what you just said, too? AM says, it's funny when people say Trump never flew to Epstein Island, and no one did. There's no airport. They flew to St. Thomas and took a yacht there. Trump also had a super yacht in the 80s. The yacht that he owned was purchased from a guy that also sold him, I believe, the yacht... sold Ghislaine Maxwell's father his yacht as well. So there's a connection between Ghislaine Maxwell's father, and Donald Trump and the guy who sold him the yachts, who just happens to be a Saudi Arabian guy who is, I think, the cousin of the original guy that owned the Washington Post. Yeah, like there's so many connections in that area that, like, it's insane to me that, well, I do get why Trump supporters don't understand all this. And that's because they're not curious people. It's the same reason that they tend to become the type of religious person that doesn't want to ask questions, but just says you just have to have faith, right? Like you have a couple different type of religious people. You have religious people that are like really interested in how things work, and like they want answers, so they lean towards religion because maybe it's just like a quick explanation, and then maybe they want to research it further, And a lot of those people tend to end up being scientists and stuff like that. But a large majority of religious people are people, and a lot of those people tend to end up being scientists and stuff like that. But a large majority of religious people are people that they're not curious as to the workings of stuff. They want a quick, easy answer. And I think that Trump supporters and cult-like behavior, obviously there's a parallel to be drawn between that and religious extremism. The cult-like behavior of Trump supporters, way that they never ask any questions about these types of connections. Now, the reason that they'll give you like so much information on other people like Barack Obama or on the Clintons or, you know, the Benghazi incident, all of those things is because that gets spoon-fed to them. That's just like, it's like a slow drip of conspiracy theory that keeps them like high on thinking that they're right about this information. And I think that like they never look outside their box. Like I was just saying a minute ago, like I want to show you guys this video of this really conservative dude talking about how pissed off he is that we don't have healthcare, but we're sending guns to Israel. The reason I know that is because I look outside of my echo chamber, right? Like I want to know whether or not the things I believe are correct or not, right? Like I listen to people that are conservative tell me things, and then I go and look to see if they're correct about them, because obviously if I'm going to repeat something, it needs to be correct. And I don't think that they ever do. I don't think that, like, so when you say that about like him landing somewhere and then, you know, you're on this yacht and, you know, it happens to be probably even, you know, a yacht that maybe Trump owns, then they're never going to look into that. They don't care. They don't care. Even though it's right up their alley. Like the Trump conspiracy theory is right up the alley of all of these people, but they're not spoon-fed it, so they don't care about it.
Will have a vested interest in the Epstein files not releasing, who also have pull on the Trump administration. This is not me trying to speculate or say anything wild. I am just reading you these confirmed leaked emails. The emails that show Epstein setting up multiple dinners and strategy sessions with Barack and Thiel, and though some meetings seem to have fallen through in these emails, there were ongoing discussions about Epstein-linked projects reaching Thiel's venture capital firms.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Epstein starting some surveillance company and Thiel helping fund it, helping distribute it, helping make sure that it blows up and everybody uses it. So Epstein's efforts weren't about profit at this point. That's the key thing that I want to take. Epstein was already rich. This was about influence. This was about spying on people and having influence. Yep. Having influence by spying on people, by having dirt on people, or just using the leverage that you have available. Now Peter Thiel seems to be involved in some way. I'm going to leave it there. If you appreciate these
All the
videos,
way.
make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to the...
Don't forget to like and subscribe to Adam's channel. And I've said this before to people. People think about the wrong things when we're talking about billionaires. People think more money, right? Like how many times have you heard leading up to the election or after the election, how many times have you heard people say about Trump and about the rich tech oligarchs? They just want more money. That's not right. You need to understand that wealth is not money. Wealth is resources. People don't understand. And I've actually, like I said, I've heard people repeating this more often now, and I'm super fucking happy that more people are saying these words, and it's not just me. Is that you can't buy your way out of what is going on in this country right now. Because the problem isn't that we can't, you know, produce more things or more money. The problem is that when we produce more things, those things are purchased by the ultra wealthy because they already have all the money. When we talk about money, what we're actually talking about is access to resources, because resources are the most important thing that you can have. And when I say resources, I don't just mean material things, though I am talking about buying buildings or real estate, housing, things like that. You also, through resources, purchase connections, status, and you influence policy. So we've talked about this before about Legia Miller. Legia Miller has a video where she talks about how if the ultra wealthy want something passed through, then they will get it passed through 90% of the time, right? 99% of the time. Whereas if people want something passed through, but the ultra wealthy are not included in that, then it barely ever gets passed, like 3 to 5% of the time, right? Because really what people care about or in this administration, like Trump, I'll give it to you. Trump wants money. Trump's a very shallow individual. And that's why I said before, Trump is not, he's not the person people should be worried about. Trump is a terrible person, a horrible leader, and a shit human being. But the people that people should be worried about are the ultra wealthy people that are going to be here long after Donald Trump dies. Because what we're actually looking at right now is a hoarding of resources in this country. if you were to build 150,000 to 200,000 new homes, right? People would be like, well, that's great. We're going to have more housing for people. Not if BlackRock can just swoop in and buy those houses up. If private equity companies can just swoop in and buy up those houses, you didn't make anything better. And that's what private equity does. They want resources because there's no value in money. The value is in having the things, having access to people that can get you connected to other people that can help you get more resources. And this is becoming worse and worse, is in having the things, having access to other people that can help you. This is becoming worse and worse because the finite, or I'm sorry, not infinite, because of the fact that we have to have the means to produce them and to procure them. So if you can't do that, then the only resources that are available are the ones that the wealthy have, and they have control of those. They can keep them from you. So we can look at it like something like water. Like people would say, well, water's, shouldn't be an issue. We have water. There's plenty of water. We'll get water. But if people that control access to the water decide that you don't get access to that water, now all of a sudden they have way more power, way more authority, and they have way more resources than you do. If you have two armies and they're going up against each other, and one army has access to water and one army has no access at all to water, the army with access to water is going to win even if it's at a disadvantage. Even if if it is in a defensible at all position, it is going to win, because you can't do anything without resources. That's why so many deaths in war occur because of disease, because of starvation, because of, even if it's at a disadvantage, even if if it is in a defensible at all position, it is going to win. Where are we here? Where else are we? What else were we supposed to watch today? We're having a tough night on the lag. Let's get rid of that one. Let's watch the combat vets in DC. Let's watch this one, because I really want to get to this one before. I don't want to not be able to watch this one. Let's watch this one for sure. So this is the Status Quo News channel, and they were in DC talking to angry veterans that were there, trying to tell people like what is going on in DC is not normal. This is not something that anybody should be okay with, regardless of how much fear, anger, hatred is sold to you. These are very important things that we need to address, because we can't let our government do this. So let's watch this video from
Remember your oath. The oath that we took. There are no fucking enemies out here.
Jolly Good Ginger.
Yep.
We're not under a state of emergency. You have rights. You are not obligated to follow unlawful orders. If you're not against fascism, you're supporting it.
Look at the area those guys are walking through. Watch this.
You're supporting it.
Look at this area. Look at this area. It's like there's nobody there. The fact that they have a Teddy Roosevelt out there with Trump just drives me nuts.
Soldiers.
I've been in your boots. I went to Iraq. I went to Afghanistan. I served. I took the same oath that you all did.
I am far more fired up now than any of my
That's a
5
nice
previous
shirt.
appointments.
Like that
and
shirt.
I've been around the world. Cuba, 95. Bosnia, 96. Kosovo, 99. Iraq, 08. Afghanistan, 2013.
I'm a retired disabled combat veteran, served a little over 20 years in the U.S. Army.
As a veteran myself.
My wife says that she learned today that Jolly can speak Korean. She's hooked. I've lost my wife, guys.
Really struck a chord in me. I was already antsy.
In the market for a new wife. Just letting you guys know.
About what's happening with the Donald Trump regime.
The illegal occupation of United States territory by the U.S. military is just that. It's illegal. The president had no right to do that. We're not under a state of emergency where our sovereignty is in danger.
And like I said, I think that this is just limit testing. This is seeing how far they can take it. So this is like one of two things, in my opinion, right? It's either one, Donald Trump is ultimately very, very scared that the House is going to turn blue, that Congress is going to impeach him, and he's getting out ahead of it to attempt to have people in place to quell civil unrest if he tries to stay in office. That's, I think, what most people think. Probably the most popular opinion is that that's what's going on. But I also think that there's a possibility that what Donald Trump is doing is he's using people's fear of crime and their anger and their hate at the other to put military, soldiers, federal agents, border patrol, ICE, whatever it is, in the middle of nicer areas of big cities to keep people that are working class, people that are minorities, from feeling comfortable going there. Because it's very much like the Gilded Age. It's the idea that they're going to throw balls. There's going to be these great balls. There's going to be gold on everything. Everything's going to be beautiful and fun, but you're not going to be a part of it. You're not going to be invited to the ball. And that, I believe, is also a real possibility. And I know that that's not the popular one, but I think it's a little bit more complicated. And I do think that, you know, when we talk about like science fiction, you guys know I'm a big science fiction and fantasy fan. When we talk about science fiction, it does show the like a little bit of a window into the future. Oftentimes in sci-fi, things are written about years before they become reality. And when we watch movies like District 9, we see the way that the ghettos are used to keep working class people away from where all the important people are. Night City, Visora was pointing out Night City in Cyberpunk the other day. Same kind of situation, a city completely ruled by corporations, no real government. I think that people shouldn't look at this situation and just say it's the most obvious answer, that, you know, Trump is just, you know, wielding his authority in a way that he thinks is appropriate to him. Like he just hates, you know, immigrants, so this is what he's doing. I think that there's probably a little more to this than people think.
He's pushing a false narrative.
This is an intimidation tactic by a man who does not respect the Constitution that we fought for. And that's why, as a veteran, I believe that we are oath-bound to fight. Our democracy is in danger. Our entire way of life is in danger. The American experiment, good, bad, and ugly, is in danger right now.
Yeah. And that's a funny word to use, the American experiment. And I know that like what we used that for was like the cultural melting pot is kind of what we called the American experiment. But I think really the American experiment is whether or not a society can go full on into capitalism and survive. That's what I think the American experiment was. And to be honest, I think it's failing. I think that, you know, capitalism is you know, government style that really drives economy, drives innovation, drives competition, really hyper motivates people, but it has no humanity. It has zero humanity. And that's why America is the #1 economy in the world, but we're like 25th or 26th in total happiness. And that's because like money generally, like money buys happiness to a certain point, right? And then after that, like it buys access to things that you really don't ever need. And you can't buy humanity. That's you can buy some happiness, but you can't buy humanity. Humanity comes from within. It comes from moral values, from foundations, from fundamental like beliefs, right? And I think that the real American experiment wasn't the cultural melting pot that is America. I think the great American experiment was seeing how far capitalism can push human beings before we go insane. And I think that we're at the end of this experiment, to be honest, and it feels like what MIT said about society globally collapsing, but specifically here in America collapsing by 2040, it's a possibility because it feels like the experiment has failed. Oh, thank you for the $10. $10. Thank you, 5 Alarm Fire. Trump building a ballroom worth millions proves he doesn't plan on leaving his house. 100%. 100%. You are fucking right on with that, 5 Alarm.
This is a clear escalation of the intimidation that this administration is trying to do against the American people.
Read on, 5 Alarm is going to beat you up for that shit.
The mission of the military is never to police its own citizens. That's never been the core function of the military in any way, shape, or form. It was something that the founding fathers were scared against. That's why they didn't have a standing army and a standing Marine Corps and Navy in the early.
By the way, World War II vets are the best vets. Sorry.
Days of the Republic, because they were scared of somebody taking control of it and using it against the citizens. That being said, we have a standing military now, and all this is doing by putting them in the streets of, antagonizing citizens and whatnot is just degrading the trust of the people in their military.
Yeah, and I think the polls showed, even for Trump, so Trump's underwater on everything that he ran on, right? Like, he's in the low 40s and 30s as far as approval goes on everything that he ran on. But even on crime, which is a pretty easy one for Trump to sell, because he just, it's fear of the other. And that's their fucking thing. They are fear of the other people. Even on that, I think the disapproval rating is 54%. It's like 54-44 or something like that. And that's because most people don't want to walk around downtown with a bunch of soldiers walking around with fucking, assault rifles. Nobody. Here's the thing, specifically about MAGA, that fucking drives me nuts. MAGA will put a thin blue line sticker on their fucking car and then drive drunk. I got into it with this Trump supporter one time, and I said, I'm not going to vote for a rapist. And he goes, yeah, you're a great fucking role model for your kids, dude. And I was like, I am, thank you. I go, I'm not going to vote for a fucking felon. And he goes, a 34-time felon. And he goes, I'm a felon. And I'm like, these are his people, right? Like, those are his people, are people that put thin blue line stickers on their car and then go drive drunk. The thin blue line stickers on the car, and they're currently on fucking parole. It's like, even they don't want to have to walk around downtown with police. They're just afraid of the police as anybody else. I'm from the trailer park. Like, I can tell you that the majority of these people don't feel comfortable around actual police forces because they know they do bad shit too.
The intimidation factor is what really angers me the most. You should look
crime
at your
is
military as they are here to protect me, not they are here to police
UFC at the Rose Garden.
I really
is so stupid.
Encourage
God
any
damn it.
soldier who ever believed in that Constitution, ever believed in that oath, took that oath seriously, join us.
Remember your oath. The oath that we took when we all put these uniforms on was, I swear to support and defend the Constitution.
And you're supposed to support the people. You don't support. You're not there to defend the president. You're there to defend us. It is our military, not the president's military, not Congress's military, not the Senate's military. It is the people's military. The military is supposed to be there to guarantee the freedoms of the American populace. Now, the president is an American citizen. Senators are American citizens. Congressmen are American citizens. And therefore, they deserve the right to be defended. But they do not, it is not appropriate for one set of people to use it on the other set of people unless there is some type of precedent. Like, if you have, let's say, a dictator that is currently using his powers to enforce unjust, unconstitutional, unlawful laws on the American populace, then that military should remove that president from the office. Just like if we had everybody in the country rising up to reinstitute slavery against African American citizens, the military in that case would be appropriate to use. But we're not talking about any of those things. And if we are talking about any of those things, really, I mean, the military should be, if we're asking any questions, it's why hasn't the military been mobilized to remove an authoritarian dictator? And I won't be hyperbolic. I'll say that's because we're not quite there yet, right? Like, a lot of us believe that we are. But when it comes to something as serious as mobilizing the military to do something like that, it has to be 100% cut and dry that is the only option we have left. Because once we've gotten there, that's literally the nuclear option. So This is just, it's insanity. It does nothing that is going on here is normal. Nothing that is going on here makes any sense at all.
It is, in my opinion, an absolute violation of that oath to come out here and point and carry your weapons on American streets, to put your mine-resistant vehicles on American streets. It is absolutely, in my opinion, undermining the public confidence of the military. People are going to have trouble trusting the military when the military's policing.
We already have a hard time trusting our fucking police forces. Many Americans, minority Americans, have zero trust for our police force. Many impoverished Americans have zero trust for our police force. So, like, some of the few places that, like, we actually do have any, like, trust for, like, potential authority figures is the military. And you're literally now going to degrade the trust of American citizens when it comes to the soldiers. Did you know that most dictatorships actually have to search outside of the country to find mercenaries to subdue their populace? It's fucking insane that in a place like America, where we scream from the rooftops that freedom is the most important thing, that we don't have to actually bring in mercenaries from outside of our country to subdue our populace, that we have a military that is currently willing to do it themselves. Like, that's fucking crazy.
The people. That's why the Posse Comitatus Act prohibits the military from doing law enforcement activity.
I understand that if you're being told to go here, that means your colonels have signed off on it, your sergeant majors have signed off on it. But remember, my lie, they signed off a lot of that shit too. And I was following orders is not a fucking defense if somebody's going to swing when crimes are happening. You know in your heart right from wrong. And you know what right looks like. You know what these people out here, you see them out here. There are no legitimate targets out here. Right? The military, especially the Army, is designed to engage and destroy our enemies in close combat. Right? The military, especially the Army, designed to engage. There are no fucking enemies out here to destroy in close combat. We're not even at war with anyone right now. So if you're going to be here, remember your oath.
You had your right hand raised to support and defend the Constitution. And I want you to know that you have rights. You are not obligated to follow unlawful orders. And there is the GI Rights Hotline, which is 1-877-447-4487, which you can call and get guidance on.
Bro, how much you want to bet fucking Donald Trump has fired the people that operate that hotline? Dude, I bet you money there is nobody operating that hotline.
If the orders that you are being given are lawful or not. And if they're not, I hope that you have the courage to stand up and do the right thing.
Wherever we see National Guard, we're going to inform and educate them. My protest is against the National Guard president, not against the National Guard troops.
Nice. And that's really important because my whole family is military, man. Like, I would want to believe that they would do the right thing. And some of them are very conservative people. Most of them are very conservative people. I would want to believe that they look at what's going on right now as being too far, right? Like, I said this talking about about conservative influencers that, like, I've been watching lately to kind of get a little bit of an idea of where their heads are at and whether or not there's any real just like conservatives out there and not a bunch of fucking MAGA Republicans anymore. Is that, like, that's a pretty important bar for me. Is, do you feel it's appropriate to use soldiers to police the American citizenry? Because 10 years ago, 12 years ago, if I would have asked a conservative that question, they would have 100% said no. 100% said no. They would have been like, why? Are they trying to do that? Are they coming for my guns? It's fucking weird what Donald Trump did to the Republican Party. It is not the Republican Party anymore. They need to change their name. Thank you for the $10. Clarification, soldiers will face the UCMJ if they disobey direct orders unless it's an illegal order. Very important, 5-alarm fire. And 5-alarm fire is a veteran and can tell you that. I am not a veteran. Farthest I made it was the AFJROTC. And I was a bad kid, and I did not join the Air Force. Even the Air Force. Wasn't going to get in there. I was a little bit too much of a bad kid. Okay. Redonk is looking up reasons to not have to vote so that way he can stop having to care. I may have to do that as well. All right, let's see. What else do we have today? Oh, yeah, we got the Republicans leaving. Let's talk about this. This is a good one. I like this one. So let's go down here and let's talk about this one. So we have, of course, one of the best parts of all of this craziness has been the MAGA fuck around and find out. And MAGA politicians have been finding out that there are still some conservatives. That Republicans, not all of them are fucking nuts. I mean, they're all nuts, but they're not all MAGA nuts. And they've been hearing about it at their town halls. And, you know, the reason why they're hearing about it is because a lot of these people are older Americans, and they promised never to touch Medi-Cal. They fucking lied. They promised not to touch Social Security. Fucking big balls, pickleballs, released all their fucking Social Security information into a cloud that can be easily hacked, apparently. These are things that even people that generally probably wouldn't agree with you on a large majority of things are now looking at it and going, you know what? Actually, this is fucking bad. And this is a Republican recently at a town hall that ran away like a little bitch.
So due process for a citizen and a non-citizen are different.
That's not true. No, it's not true.
No, it's not.
That's not true. Fake news!
The 5th and 14th Amendments allow for the Supreme Court of statute.
You know what I like about this? Is that people are actually becoming better educated. This motherfucker's like, the 5th and the 14th! He's like, I finally read the Constitution.
Many times.
Shame.
Shame. Shame.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, walk out the back door. Walk out the back door.
Bye, Felicia. Oh, he dropped a bye, Felicia. Oh, that is amazing. Hey, what is going on here? There we go. Okay. We got an error code. Fucking my internet is so bad right now. That dude dropped a bye, Felicia on him. It was fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. And getting the shame chant, the Game of Thrones shame chant as you're fucking running out the back door. Oh, it's fucking amazing. A Republican congressman left a heated town hall via the back door after he was relentlessly laughed at and heckled while trying to defend President Trump, which is the appropriate thing to do to anybody that is trying to defend Donald Trump. Look, this is not the Democratic Party of your grandparents, okay? This Democratic Party needs to be the Democratic Party that uses shame on these people because they deserve it. They do. These people have no empathy for you. This is an argument that I've heard people make before. You say something like, you know, we were talking about that MAGA Eric Erickson guy who his wife has fourth stage cancer and she can't get a COVID vaccine. And I said, well, that's what you voted for, Eric Erickson. That's too fucking bad. And what people will do is they'll come on here and they'll go, bro, you don't have any empathy for his wife. First of all, I do. You don't have any empathy for his wife. You're going to talk shit about her not being able to get that vaccine. What if your wife got cancer and couldn't get a COVID vaccine, and then people said that they didn't care that she couldn't get the vaccine? Well, let me stop you right there. Because this is something that the right does to the left all the time. The right comes into these spaces and goes, think about it. Wouldn't it suck if this happened to you? But the problem with that is the left actually said that from the very fucking beginning. They're like, hey, wouldn't this suck if it happened to you? And you said, not going to happen to me. Don't fucking care. So to begin with, there's that. But also, you're never going to feel bad for me if my wife gets cancer. It doesn't matter whether or not I make fun of this motherfucker or not. Whether or not I shame and mock this person or not. Because even if I sat on this fucking channel and said, man, that's fucked up. We should really all have empathy for this human being because it's so important to. You wouldn't care whether or not that thing happened to me or happened to my wife. Because we've already established that when it happened to other people, you didn't fucking care. So this left-wing party, this Democratic Party, needs to be one that mocks and shames and makes fun of you motherfuckers. Rep. Barry Moore was hammered with tough queries and more than a few heckles during a raucous town hall in Daphne, Alabama. Gray pill. They're in Alabama. You should have been there. The tense showdown was captured in a 40-minute video from the advocacy group Indivisible Baldwin County. It shows Moore squirming under relentless questioning about Medicaid cuts, the closure of rural hospitals, Trump-era tariffs, immigration crackdowns, abortion bans, and even the deployment of the National Guard in Washington, D.C. Moore's attempts to respond were drowned out with laughter and interruptions, which is all too fucking appropriate. At one point, the audience openly mocked his evasive answers. Once again, full support. By the end of the night, the Republican lawmaker had had enough, cutting things short and slipping away through an exit rather than facing his increasingly hostile crowd. Exit stage left. At one point, a woman asked, why are people not getting due process? Why are immigrants not getting due process? Moore's answer went down like a lead balloon. So due process for a citizen and a non-citizen are different things. He was drowned out by loud cheers and cries of false. When your constituents know more about the Constitution than you do, it's time to quit. Moore continued speaking into his mic, but he couldn't be heard over the crowd's reaction, failing to restore him calm. He turned to an aide who took the mic from him before he headed for the exit to chants of shame. The question about due process proved to be the tipping point, but Moore had been grilled all night in Baldwin County, an area where Donald Trump won 78.4% of the vote in the 2024 election, which, once again, we just saw the other day, that woman in Iowa, in a county that Trump carried by 11 points, lost. A Democrat beat a Republican candidate to take away Iowa's supermajority for Republicans in their Congress, I believe, state Senate. Either way. This is what is making Trump scared. Republicans are pissed off. Real, actual conservatives are pissed off. Asked what he viewed as Donald Trump's most meaningful accomplishment, Moore cited border security. The audience responded with laughter, loud jeers, and chants of next question. He was also accused of lying after asserting that Medicaid cuts in Trump's mega bill would apply only to undocumented immigrants, which is a fucking flat-out lie. That is fucking insane that he would even say that. And do you like the fact that when asked what his most important policy issue is, he goes to immigration? Because these people have been fed a steady diet of anger, hate, and vitriol, and they know, these Republican representatives know that for fucking decades now, anytime that they're in a hard spot, all they have to do is just roll back and be like, oh yeah, brown people, don't forget about brown people are here, they're stealing your shit, they're killing joggers, they're coming in to take your jobs, brown people. Moore did not offer closing remarks or say goodnight as he exited the event in Daphne, a suburb of Mobile. In an interview on Thursday on the Dale Jackson Show, a conservative Alabama podcast and radio program, Moore denied slipping out the back. We had left like any other event, he said. I think we tried to engage and answer questions, but unfortunately it got hijacked. Moore added that he was so calm throughout the event and insisted he doesn't mind facing the heat head on. That's why you fucking ran out the back door, brother. He attributed the disruptions to some of the same bad actors who he said he had seen at other appearances. Yeah, they're probably the same fucking people that hate you. They're probably following you around going, you're a piece of shit. And they should. They should mock the fuck out of you. The Alabama congressman, first elected in 2020, is now running for Senator Tommy Tuberville's seat as Tuberville campaigns for governor. Oh my God. Tommy Tuberville as the governor of Alabama. You guys are so fucked. I thought we were cooked. Since Donald Trump re-entered the White House in January, numerous Republican lawmakers have faced intense backlash during in-person town halls. Rep. Warren Davidson was booed over Trump-sponsored policies in Ohio and amid sweeping DOGE cuts in February. Rep. Rich McCormick in Georgia was heckled for justifying Elon Musk's work. Rep. Mark Alford was the latest GOP lawmaker to host a contentious live event during the August recess. On Monday, voters at a town hall meeting in Missouri demanded that the Republican congressman denounce President Donald Trump's lies and told him to get his head out of Trump's ass. I would like more of this. It gives me fucking hope. Mobile. I can do it, Chris. Thank you. I can do it, Chris. Thank you. I appreciate the help. Yeah, we need more of this. Because, look, there's people like me out there that went into this election saying, guys, not everybody is MAGA. You know, like that. There's a lot of conservatives that I will straight up disagree with on almost everything they believe. But, you know, I've known conservatives in my life that when having the discussion on the topic of abortion, and this is going to sound fucking crazy to you guys, but back in the day when we were talking about abortion, there were certain conservatives that would say, you know, you can be pro-choice. That is understandable. That's for you. But I am pro-life personally. And we've gotten so far away from that. You know, we've gotten so far away from any type of middle ground. And, you know, I think that there's a lot of discussion to be had about the past, decade and a half about what has gotten us here. And I don't think that, you know, like the left doesn't have any blame in kind of the polarization of topics nowadays. I think that one of the most important things that I find really palatable about the way that the left does things is that there is a lot of self-analyzation, that there is a lot of critical thought. And so I appeal to my left-wing brothers and sisters out there to say to themselves, you know, is there somewhere here that we can find people that do deserve a path to redemption? And if some of these people are these people that are going to these town halls and standing up to these politicians and calling Trump out, like there is some grace to be had there. And that's a hard thing to say right now because I fucking hate MAGA. And I don't think that there's probably anybody that is a MAGA Republican that I feel like very comfortable extending that grace or path to redemption to. But I do feel like there are some people that are, you know, obviously these people showing up to these town hall meetings that are pretty fucking pissed off when, you know, the potential that was a conservative person asking why an immigrant isn't getting due process, to me says that person then at least gets the idea that though they may not want that person here in the country, that they deserve the right to be shown that they should be deported before being deported. I hope that there is something that we can do with this, what's going on here. Let's see. Oh, thank you for $10. 5 Alarm Fire. Another $10. Thank you so much tonight, 5 Alarm. What I find hilarious is when Republicans gerrymandered the Texas maps. They put 10 districts in play, and the 5 they gerrymandered isn't a given with a right-wing hate happening across the states. 100%. There's lots of fucking... there is a lot of talk about whether or not those gerrymandered districts will actually provide those 5 seats that Trump is asking for. And you've got to even ask yourself, you do have to ask yourself whether or not they did that on purpose or they did it for a reason. Like, because one of the things I think people continue to forget is people like Pam Bondi, people like Hegseth, a lot of these guys have attached their fortunes to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's going to die. He's going to die within the next decade. He might die in the next couple of years. And when he does, there is no one to really take his place to hold together the MAGA cult. And I do believe that there are some Republican Congress people out there that are very fucking scared about losing their jobs. And I also think that's why so many of them are quitting, because they don't want to be attached to this. They'd rather go into the private industry before they get fucked. And, that actually works in our favor because, yes, there is a potential that the 5 House seats that Republicans believe are now safe in Texas are not actually safe. And the best I think that you can really hope for when we talk about those Republican gerrymandered House seats is not that a Republican is going to vote for a Democrat, but instead that Republicans will stay home and won't vote. Because that is a part of why Kamala Harris lost. Kamala Harris lost because, in part due to, not just only because, but in part due to people that were unhappy with Biden's administration for his foreign policy, people that were unhappy with some of the things that Kamala Harris was perceived to have done as the district attorney in California, which I debunked 99% of those, but not everybody watches my fucking show, so whatever. But she lost due to the fact that a large amount of people did not show up. And of course, there was, in my opinion, some rigging of votes. When I say rigging, I mean the use of legislation, of policy by Republicans to disenfranchise Democratic voters in red states. Not the way that Trump would use that. But I wanted to show you guys this one. I don't know if you guys have seen this one. We're almost at time, but that's okay. We've got enough time to watch a couple more videos. So I want to watch these ones, and maybe we'll watch the funny one to finish the show. We might not get through all the videos, but we might just watch the funny one just for the fucking fun of it, because it's hilarious. All right. So this is, guys, as my screen freaks out, this is Donald Trump in 1993, showing just how much he had in common with MAGA before MAGA knew it. And the kind of funny thing is people talk about Trump being a Democrat back in this time. And I do think that he had a lot of democratic opinions, like when it came to abortion, right? I would say Trump was more like libertarian, more laissez-faire, just don't worry about what the fuck I'm doing over here to people, and I won't worry about what you're doing to people over there, right? But this is kind of both a little bit of a look into who Trump was back in this time, and also what his political beliefs probably actually were. And this actually has something to do a lot with his real estate program. And you guys, if you guys watch my channel for long enough, know that I did a interview with a gentleman who stopped Donald Trump from being able to purchase a large amount of real estate in Manhattan because he wanted to gentrify it and kick homeless people and minorities out of that area and turn it into a more affluent neighborhood. And so this is once again one of these times where Donald Trump wants something from a state or from the country and believes that he can just, blunt force his way into getting it, which kind of explains why he does what he does right now as the president of the United States as well. So I want you guys to watch this video, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me. And they don't look like to Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether or not you're approving it, sir.
No, it's not a question whether I'm approving it. It's not a question whether I'm approving it. Mr. Trump, you know in the history of this country where we've heard this discussion before, they don't look Jewish to me.
Oh, really?
They don't look Indian to me. They don't look Italian to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a test for whether people could go into business or not go into business, whether they could get a bank loan. You're too black, you're not black enough.
Yeah. And something that's funny about that is fucking the way that Trump treated Elizabeth Warren. And you know, one of the funniest things was I forgot what clip it was, but it was over on my Angry Ginger live clips channel. By the way, that has almost 4,000 subscribers now. Okay, we're fucking killing it. I had said at the beginning of it was Elizabeth Warren Mom Donnie video that we watched, and I said, you know, I hate the amount of pushback that Elizabeth Warren got over, you know, saying that she had Native American heritage. Because I've said before, I said, like, lots of people from my generation said, you know, like, we had Native American heritage. And, of course, a lot of people in America do, because we fucking raped and pillaged their fucking culture. But it was funny because I actually got a bit of pushback of my own on that. And that was a bunch of people coming into the comments and saying, I'm white as a fucking lily, and I have Native American heritage. And even people saying, like, I don't talk about it because I think people will make fun of me in the same way that Elizabeth Warren was made fun of for saying that she had heritage. And, you know, I took a little bit of pushback for that because I think in the video I was saying, like, you know, there was a big white person thing to do, right? It was like, it was very, very white of us to be like, you know, we're colonizing the shit out of this with a whole lot of, like, I was a Chippewa or a Cherokee or an Apache, and I made the joke that no one is ever from, like, a small Indian tribe. We're always from the coolest fucking ones, right? And a lot of people push back on that, and rightfully so, because they're saying, just because I don't look like I'm Native American doesn't mean I don't have any Native American heritage. And obviously what this guy is saying is there's ways to identify a person's heritage that do not include fucking looking at them. It's fucking insane. And it just tells you who Donald Trump is as a person. You know, it's like if you showed Donald Trump like an albino person and you asked him, do you think that person's an African American? He'd be like, nope. And they're like, well, what if I told you they're albino? Don't look like they're black to me. Doesn't look black to me. Not black to me. You know, and that's like, it just goes to show what this dude's reasoning is. Because all I have to do, I'm not there. This is 1993. I barely understand the context of what is going on in this clip. But I can tell you I understand what that man is saying. What that man is saying is that there are other ways to determine whether or not a person has Native American heritage. And we're not just walking around giving out fucking benefits that are specific to Native Americans based off the way they look. Like, you know, you don't go into an office in New York to apply for some type of, you know, Native American benefit or access to a reservation, and you just wear a headdress and you sit down in the fucking chair and they're like, obviously Native American. That's not how it works. Like, you have to prove your heritage. And the fact that Donald Trump thinks that this is the way that our country works, that it just goes to show this is what he thinks about. This is how he does business. This is why Fred Trump and Donald Trump got in trouble by the federal government for not renting places out to black people. Because that's what he does. He judges people based on the way they look. It's the same reason that the Central Park 5, Donald Trump put a full-page ad to have them fucking taken to justice. Because he didn't know shit about what was going on there. He just knows that he blames black people for it happening. And they just happen to be black people that were in some way in the area during that time. So he associated that plus that. And he said, obviously, someone got raped. Somebody was black. I think I know who did it. It's the worst case or worst fucking example of a game of Clue you've ever seen in your life. If Donald Trump sat down with you and played Clue with you, every single time he would guess it was the black man with the knife in Central Park. Like, Donald, there's no black dude. Do you mean Mr. Plum? That's the closest we got, dog. Also, no Central Park. In my game, there is. In my game, there is. It's just... That's how dude sees things. It's just how he sees things. And it explains so much about who he is as a human being. It explains so much about what is going on in this country right now. And it explains so much about why he is the worst president that has ever occupied that White House. And Franklin Pierce does exist, guys, just so you know. If you don't know how bad Franklin Pierce was, go figure that shit out. Go Google Franklin Pierce and then get back to me and tell me if Donald Trump or Franklin Pierce are the worst president that has ever existed. I'm going Donald Trump. Let's see. Let's watch this video. Let's do it. All right, guys. We're gonna hop away. We're gonna hop away from the politics, and I hope you guys are with this one. Don't leave me. Don't leave me, guys. I know usually this is all politics all the time. We talk a lot of shit. But we're going to hop over to a guy that I greatly enjoy, and I know many other people do because he has 17 million subscribers, is Charlie, also known as Moist Critical, also known as Penguin Zero. And this is a video called Man Does the Unthinkable at a Korn Concert. If you have seen this video, don't spoil it. But if you haven't seen this video and would like to take a guess as to what the unthinkable is, go for it, guys. I implore you to guess, because I guarantee you, if you have not seen this video, no fucking cheating. No cheating. I know some of you are his subscribers because there's 17 million fucking subscribers, so I know some of you guys are. Okay? I want to hear it. What do you guys think the unthinkable act is? We are cleansing our palate with comedy. We're cleansing our palate with Penguin Zero, with Moist Critical. There's no better way to do it. He's fucking wholesome, okay? This is not wholesome, by the way. This is like the opposite of wholesome. All right. I'm going to play the video. I've given you guys the time. Hope you guys are ready for this. Here we go.
Have you ever been to a concert for your favorite band and just let the music take control, allowing the sound to pierce your very soul and turn your
everyone.
body
A few weeks
into
ago.
an instrument?
Whoa. Why is Ozzy
Well, at least
Man
one
playing?
guy did, and
How did the fucking Ozzy Man start playing? That's not even cued.
pierce your very soul and turn your body into an instrument. Well, at least one guy did, and it is a horrific thing to behold. Some weirdo at a Korn concert was just caught jorking his hog.
Who explains sexual harassment to you and me? Sexual harassment, panda.
The sin that you just bore witness to is humanity's nature laid bare. This is man in its most primal, unfiltered form. Behold! Now, with the angle of the video taken here, I've seen some
Oh, Rita, buttering his corn. No! Oh, beating your hog to the peak of the song Blind Life is wild. Oh, it gets better, guys. Oh, this is not the end. If you think keep in mind, guys, we are only 46 seconds in. There is so much more. A freak pulling his leash.
game theorist proposed that he wasn't actually jelking and fucking playing the skin flute. He was actually air drumming. However, we have significant evidence to...
How do you like... That's the internet. That's the internet we exist in nowadays, guys. We live in a contrarian world where you're like, that motherfucker is definitely fucking flossing the hog. He is jerking the jerkin, okay? Like, that is what that man is doing. And there's like, well, actually, it looks like he's air drumming. Like, there's always going to be at least one fucking contrarian in the fucking comments that's like, you know what, that may look like a pig, it may smell like a pig, it may feel like a pig, but I'm pretty sure that's a duck. Always.
Bust that myth. Also, speaking of busting, it is still unconfirmed whether or not he fully squeeged or if he was stopped before reaching climax. We have more footage here. I'm just showing you the
can't wait for the follow-up video.
Introduction. Also, a fun fact here, this actually educated me. I didn't even know Korn and System of a Down were touring.
Fuck yeah, brother. Bakersfield, California. Represent!
That's pretty hype. I still like both of those bands quite a bit. Now, I don't think I would go there and beat my dick like it owed me money till I came while listening to Blind, but that is still pretty cool. I would be excited.
Look at this shit. Bam! I like this guy. Hold on. One more time. This guy on his right. Pay attention to doing right. Look at the two chicks down there that are like, holy shit! Look at this guy. He's like, you gotta go, bro. You gotta leave like right now.
Now we get an angle of other people around him, and it seems like everybody is now aware that this fucking freak is rubbing the magic lamp mid-concert here with no shame. And also in the beginning, once again, to disprove the potential air drums explanation, someone shouts, ew. Like, immediately after he does something with his left hand.
I mean, I do shout ew when somebody air guitars, but that's a completely different style, okay? Yeah, you like that stance? He got into it. He like fucking dropped into like Goku stance, like a full pivot back, right? And then used the hips. He really drove through the punch. Really fucking drove through that punch. That was good form. That was good fucking form, guys.
And then starts going turbo mode with his right. I don't know what they would say ew to other than that, especially when everyone seems to be looking at this guy. Except for the people directly to his right, the group that has someone wearing the Attack on Titan scout garb, which is a very hype outfit, by the way. They are looking away from him. It looks like they're trying to, like, not see what is unfolding over
They're trying to not see.
there. I really think if this was a case of people just mistaking his air drumming for masturbating, there wouldn't be this many people.
Does happen to me all the time, guys. Happens to me all the time. My wife comes into the room. She's like, what are you doing? I'm like, air drumming. Fucking air drumming, dude. Dude, go out. Go fucking knock on the door. I'm trying to air drum in here.
People focused on what's happening there. And security probably wouldn't have been called immediately. Plus,
immediately.
The ew, all of it seems to indicate
Once again,
this was not just like some kind of innocent thing that got misinterpreted. Eventually, one guy here gets fed up, so he drops in behind him like a boss fight and then punches him, which vaporizes his bandana. It basically just fucking despawns it. I don't know if, like, diplomacy failed and people were trying to bargain with him, pleading like, hey, put your cock back in your pants, please, I'm trying to watch the Korn concert.
Can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine somebody being brave enough to go down there and, like, tap dude on the shoulder? And be like, hey, bro, hey, bro, can you stop? Hey, dude, like that is, I'm not that dude. I'll be honest with you, I'm not getting close. I'm not getting within 6 feet of a dude jerking off. Look, COVID rules do apply to somebody jerking off. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm observing 6 feet. I'm also wearing a mask. All the COVID rules also apply to a person jerking it in public. And I have to say, all props to that man for being willing to do something that I would not. I'll be honest with you. I would not. My boss was at a concert, and he was in a crowd in which there were young people there, and one very, very drunk cowboy decided because he couldn't get out of the crowd, he turned around and started to pee on the ground. And my boss was the good Samaritan that was like, hey, don't do that. There are children out here, which, you know, adults as well don't want to see that shit, but also, you know, specifically children. And the guy was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. And, you know, good on my boss. Because you whip that shit out and you start peeing, I'm just like fucking shoving you away from me. I don't want to be glanced off of. Let's just fucking say it, okay? I don't want to actually touch something that I'm not interested in touching. That's all I'm saying.
And he just refused to. I don't know if negotiations soured, so then this guy went down there to
Pamela, dude was confused. He thought it was a Limp Bizkit concert. Oh, somewhere in there's a hot dog flavored water joke too. Somewhere in there.
You know, I don't know if negotiations soured, so then this guy went down there to, you know, put the kibosh on it himself.
but he did ultimately end up saving the people in the seats below them from getting hit with some hail.
Dude, the visuals, Charlie. Wait, was there a splash guard? Hopefully there was some glass in front of that guy. Maybe they would have been protected if there was some glass in front of that guy. This is how these kind of safety measures get put into place, guys, is that, like, you know, something like this happens and the next thing you know, like, they take away, like, your ability to unzip your pants when you come through the door. They're like, sorry, one dude ruined it for everything. Yep, that's the way it goes. Look at it. How would you like to be one of these police officers? Like, I'm like, don't touch his hand. Why are you sticky, bro? Where did your bandana go? Like, look, you know, I give cops a hard time. Not a huge fan. Had a lot of bad experience with police officers in my life. Not always the guy that's going to say, that sucks for that cop. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. I kind of feel bad here. I don't want to be the guy that has to wrestle the dude that was just jerking off. Just fucking throwing it out there. That's what she said. Look at this. Yeah! Dude, that was the perfect fucking drop right there, dude. That was perfect. Listen to this shit. Listen to the music as he's being carried out. Fuck yeah! Look at this dude. Bro, I guarantee you he was on drugs. 100% he was on drugs, dude. That dude had popped some fucking ecstasy. There is no way. There's no way he was on ecstasy.
Here's where the air drum explanation goes to die. This is the nail in the coffin. So, when they are taking him away, which he is very reluctant. He is like gripping for dear life. He's like, I'm not
like, you know how much money I paid for these tickets?
Fucking leaving. Not until I hear freak on a leash. Damn you, I'm sticking around. As the cops are like yanking on him, trying to get him to budge, but he's not moving an inch. He is a bioorganic weapon right now. He might have cum on his hands. He might have cum all over him.
Oh, God damn, dude. I mean, I know I just made that joke, but still. You didn't have to say it like that. Come all over him, Charlie? Jesus Christ.
Again, I can't find any reports on the status of whether or not a load was blown, but he was clearly in the process of doing that. Still not convinced.
Bro, redonk. Not much. He was in the upper decks. Can you imagine being down below and you're like, the fuck? Like, dude, I'm bald, bro. I mean, I guess it'd be worse if you got it in your hair, right? I don't know. For people that have hair, is it worse if it makes contact with your skin directly or if you get it in your hair? I'm going to actually guess that it'd be worse if it got in your hair. Because then it could get all fucking inside of it. You're like you're like, what the fuck is this, right? Like with me, it would just be like a... like you're like, who spit on me? The fuck? And then you're like, then you do this shit, right? And what does everybody do? What does every person do when they get some liquid on them? What does every person do? You'd be like, is that bleach? Is that chlorine? And then you're at home. Then you're at home after the Korn concert and you see this shit and you're like, motherfucker.
All right, then how about this, partner? Explain Exhibit A. In the close-up here of the ne'er-do-well, you can see his pants are undone.
Clearly undone.
Thus, I conclude that with his left hand, he undid his trousers and then did the dirty deed with his right. I challenge you to explain his unzipped breeches. Also, I've air-drummed before. I think we all have, especially like on the steering wheel when a real boner jam comes on. And of course, sometimes doing a little ham boning. Of course, we all know ham boning. And that...
I do not know ham boning. Is that what that's called? Is that called ham boning? I think I just learned something.
Can look a little.
Damn, that's actually pretty fast. Also, that is a terrible time. I don't think I should. Hold on. Go ahead, guys. I paused the video there for you. One more time.
Ham boning. Of course, we all know ham boning, and that can look a little.
Oh, this is gonna be my desktop.
Suspicious for what's going on down there. But it's just ham boning. In this case, though, it doesn't really look like that. He's much more like up on himself. And based on everyone's reaction around him with someone shouting, ew, and his pants being undone, I think we can safely assume it probably wasn't some kind of, like, mix-up here, like confusing air drumming and ham boning for masturbating.
Nah, dude, we all know what's happening.
That is not the proper technique. And in the words of J.K. Simmons from Whiplash, not my tempo. Also, I may not be like a body language expert. I can't analyze people's micro expressions on their face to figure out their deepest, darkest secrets.
This is totally a guy
in that
problem.
close-up shot of him, that looks like an angry man that did not ejaculate. That is the face of a man who was close, but no cigar. He got clobbered before he could finish, is my take on that. And then they...
Close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and jerking off at corn concerts.
Carry him away like a corpse while Got the Life starts playing. And when Got the Life hits, by the way, you can see him throw his head back one more time.
Fuck yeah, brother.
Maybe in that moment he reached nirvana and did finally bust. I don't know. Watching him be like crowd surfed by the police here where they carry him away like a Thanksgiving turkey is just, it's a crazy shot. Anyway, though, they ejected him from the venue. There's conflicting reports on whether or not he was arrested. According to...
Just wait until the conservatives get a hold of this video, too. Conservatives are going to get a hold of this video, and they're going to be like, what I heard, Jim, was that he wasn't even ejected from the corn concert because the woke ideology believes you should be able to jerk it in the front row of corn concerts. That's what I was told. I was told that the only reason he was removed, Jim, was because he was a white male. If he was anything else, Jim, if he was a black man or a brown man, I'll tell you this right now, the woke mob would have allowed him to jerk it right there, right on a person's face. Like, that's where we've gotten in this society.
One source, he was arrested and charged with lewdness, but they did, like, release him later that day. Also, according to some of the attendees, the man who punched him also got arrested for it. And I read some comments from people.
Okay, never mind. There's the conservative story for you. Okay, before this hits the news, guys, I want you guys to be ready for this. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
White males way up. White males have gone through the roof. White males way up.
Yep. I just want you guys to know this story before conservative media publishes it. Okay, you guys ready for this one? Okay. Man at corn concert pleasures himself in front of teenagers, released from jail while hero that stopped the act from happening, held on assault charges. And actually, I'm gonna be with him on this one. Actually, I'm going to decry the woke mob along with the conservatives on this one because that man was a fucking hero. Okay. Swear on everything I love. That man was a fucking hero, okay? I already told you, I wouldn't have came close to even... I'm not touching that, dude.
People claiming to be some of the audience members that were there and witnessed it, and how upset they were both at the disgusting act from this weirdo, but also very upset that the guy that stopped him got arrested. It's not super surprising to learn that there because they take that kind of thing very seriously. Sucker punches can kill people, so they weren't just going to let that slide, even though it was delivered to a fucking weirdo doing a horrible thing. But anyway, that's the story as of now. I guess we'll see where it goes from here. He hasn't made a statement yet, and there's only been that one report about, like, the arrest and everything. But anyway, one hell of a concert experience, that's for damn sure.
That is so amazing. Was there any hard evidence? Oh, golf. Golf, no. Alright, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys all for being here. Thanks for fucking watching that video with me. Thank you guys so much. It was a fun one. I always enjoy these as always. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And this feels appropriate.
Yeah, you effing with some wet-ass P-word. Bring a bucket and a mop for this wet-ass P-word. Give me everything you got for this wet-ass P-word. P-word. P-word is female genitalia.
And 100% this feels real appropriate to
Who
end this.
explains sexual harassment to you and me? Sexual harassment, panda.
All right, guys. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your weekend. And I will see you guys on Wednesday at 5 p.m.